Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And welcome in Thursday edition of After Further Review. Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez, filling in for Matt Moscona. Last AFR of 2021. Next time we're on the airwaves, Matt will be back, and it will be 2022. Plenty to get to over the next 3 hours here. Mario, LSU basketball drops their first game. Get a chance to talk some Saints-Panthers, our last chance to talk Saints-Panthers, as that one will kick off on Sunday. Of course, we won't be on the air tomorrow. Ron Higgins, editor of Tiger Rag, will be here at 3:30 to help recap LSU Auburn in hoops. Ryan Black covers Kansas State. Talk some Texas Bowl with him at 5 o'clock. And then Mike Triplett, who joins Matt every Thursday at 5:15, will do the same. Join us at 5:15. Talk Saints Panthers as well. Mario, how are you?
I'm well, Musso. Disappointing loss for LSU basketball, but hopefully they can bounce back. We have LSU football one more time this season in just a couple of days. And the Saints, big game against Carolina. They're at home. Panthers are reeling right now. Hopefully they can take advantage. So lots to break down today. I'm well. How are you?
Doing all right. 3 more hours. 3 more hours. It's been a lot of time with a microphone in front of our face this week, Mario.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time talking into a mic. Going on now 13 hours this week.
Ready for the new year, man.
Look, this is a great way to get into the new year. Let's start with LSU basketball. Tigers and Will Wade's Tigers, they fall 70-55 at Auburn last night. First loss of the season, 12-1 now, 0-1 in conference play. And, look, man, it didn't get off to a good start. Nothing really ever went right offensively for LSU last night. Really a lot of their problems that they've had offensively that have been masked came to the forefront. Turnovers haunted LSU and really at key points in the game that we'll get into. Walker Kessler, the big man from Auburn, their center, just had his way. Really was the difference maker in the game. 16 points, 11 blocks. That'll get the job done. Really shut down LSU in the paint. Tigers they're one of their best sources of offense all year has been the free throw line, and they shot 60% from there. So it just wasn't a great night offensively for LSU. Wasn't a great night really on the scoreboard when it came down to it because of it. But it's one of 18. LSU's got 17 games left in conference. I'm willing to bet they'll win the majority of those. There's plenty of improvement to be had, and when you look at it outside big picture view, the defense traveled and showed up, and LSU held Auburn. Only one other team has held Auburn to 70 points in that building this year, and LSU was able to accomplish that.
Yeah, and the offense was bad. There's no way around it. We'll dive into the stats in a moment, but it's hard to come back when you only score 1 point in the first 5 minutes. And I thought LSU's offense got it going a little bit towards the end of the game and into the second half, but just too many turnovers, too many guys trying to do too much, and it resulted in Auburn making these runs that LSU couldn't recover from. You shoot 28% from the field, 6 for 29 from three. At some point, you should realize that the three-pointers are not falling and try to attack the basket. And LSU did that in spurts this game, but they definitely settled for way too many jumpers.
Especially early. 0 of 16 to start the game, 0 of 11 from three. It just, they dug a hole. They kept digging. That's what it felt like. But I will say this about the Tigers, man. They fought last night really hard. Really, really hard. They were down 17 twice in that game. Fought to get it back to 6 both times. And I'll tell you this, Mario. So when I'm sitting there watching the first half, and as you said, they're down 18-1, right? And, man, it's looking bleak. And they start to kind of craft their run together. And they're not lighting it up by any stretch of the imagination, but they're getting to the basket. They're getting fouled. They're getting to the line, which we talked about a lot yesterday. Thought that'd be the way they kind of needed to score in this game. That was their path to scoring against Auburn. I was thinking to myself about something that Will Wade said. I believe it was after the Georgia Tech game, because they faced a big deficit there, came back and won. And he said post-game that night that, in his first media availability after that game, they didn't have a post-game. But he said the way they play, they need one good run each half. And they'll win most of their games, and most of them they'll win fairly comfortably. If they have, because of the pressure they put on, the defense they play, the turnovers they can force, give them one good run each half. And I'm watching that first half, and I'm saying, here comes their run right here. This is it. It's not a great run, but man, look, they've got it to 6 points. They're gonna be. It's 3.5 minutes left. They got it to 6 points. they hold it there, they're going to have a heck of a shot to go on one big run in the second half and win this game, even though they got off to such a slow start. I was thinking to myself, this is the most 2021-22 LSU basketball half we've seen. So, like, it's perfect. It's just what they're doing. And then a sequence happened that would actually happen multiple times. LSU gets it to 6, down 26-18. 3 out of their next 4 possessions, they would turn it over, end up down 10 again. They would end up down 11 at the half. And then later in the game, second half, about 6.5 minutes left, heading towards that 6-minute game. It's a 6-point game, feeling good after being down 17 again. You're right there with a chance to make the move, all the momentum. LSU would turn it over 3 straight times after that. End up back down 10 again. Xavier Pinson would foul out with 5.5 left in the game, and that was pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, and I think Brandon Murray being out was significant for LSU. It was kind of tat for tat with Cambridge being ruled out for Auburn right before the game and Murray being ruled out for LSU. But I think one small bright spot was Justice Williams in this game. He had to make his college basketball debut on the road in this arena against this team. And I know he had a really bad turnover down the stretch, but he did score 7 points in 23 minutes, 2 for 6 from the field, including 1 for 2 from the three-point line. He at least did a decent job knocking down his free throws, 2 for 3, which was the best clip in the game for any Tiger besides Xavier Pinson, who shot 7 for 8. So maybe he could be somebody who can get his confidence going forward, maybe crack the rotation before the end of the season. But we talked about in the last show, man, the guard play for LSU this game, at least offensively, really disappointing, especially when you talk about Eric Gaines and his 5 turnovers and 0 assists. Not to make excuses, but I really feel like LSU could have used another ball handler in Brandon Murray last night.
Yeah, I mean, LSU could have used all hands on deck last night. I mean, when you got off to the start they did and were down 17 twice in that game, I absolutely agree with you. Anybody else could have helped. But I will say this, the defense was very good. I mean, it answered any questions that anybody should have around the country about if LSU's defense is for real, because holding Auburn to 70 points in that building is no small feat. It kept you in the game. You were down 18-1. Yeah, you're down 17. It honestly felt like you could have been down 23, 24 points at that point, and you weren't. And it was because the defense held the line enough, forced Auburn into some silly mistakes, whether it be stepping on the line or just flat throwing the ball out of bounds. And that's what LSU's going to live off this year. So you're never going to be the elite offensive team that we've seen from Will Wade's groups in the past. You just have to become more efficient. I mean, that's really what it is. I'm not asking you to go out there and score 80, but if LSU can go out there and average 73 points a game with the defense they have, they're going to have a shot to win a lot of ball games left on their schedule. And I mean, and ultimately, that's what you should take away going from this, is now you've highlighted what needs to be fixed. Now Will Wade's been trying to highlight it, but now you have tangible evidence of it biting you to show. Go forward. You have a big game coming up with Kentucky. There should be a little bit of a sense of urgency because of that and getting these things fixed, because if you go out there and play the same way you did against Auburn, the result comes going to be the exact same against a very good Kentucky team.
Yeah, and just like LSU got a little bit flustered by the Auburn crowd, hopefully they can feed off of the PMAC crowd a little bit against Kentucky, because they haven't experienced that most of the team moves. So I believe just Days and Pinson have played in front of crowds. So it's going to be significant for LSU to be back at home. I think the defense will continue to play really well. I agree with you. I thought for the most part it was really good last night. You need to get better on offense and specifically moving the ball. And not just that, Musa. Will Wade talked about rebounding going into the game and how key that would be for LSU. Auburn only got 6 more rebounds than LSU, so not that much of a disparity, but they were the much more physical team last night. And you might disagree with me here. I know T-Bob did this morning when we talked about it, but I was a little bit disappointed about just how dominant Walker Kessler was in this game. And I know that he's a really good player. We talked about him being number 1 in the nation in block rates, but 16 points, 10 rebounds, 11 blocks. LSU was not matching his physicality, and to me that's a little bit concerning. Again, hopefully LSU can improve as we go, but coming into the season, that was kind of my concern about last season, and I thought LSU having a little bit more size this year would prevent dominant performances like that, but we saw that from Dickerson in the NCAA tournament for Michigan. LSU had no answer for him. We saw the center from Florida a couple of years ago, a game that I love to mention, dominate LSU, and we saw the same exact thing with Walker Kessler last night.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I would have liked to seen them go at him harder. Or Mario, that's what I said it till I was blue in the face yesterday. LSU has to go down low, try to get him in foul trouble, and get to the line. They're statistically the best free throw shooting team in the SEC. That's how you were going to score points last night. But it didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, of course. And Will Wade wanted to see them be a little bit more physical with him too. He said it in post game. They went in there on 1 foot almost every time, and it just allowed him to use his length and get to the ball. I mean, LSU is not very controlled on offense last night. It didn't feel like. And while they've been inconsistent, obviously, all year, there's been times in the pre-conference slate they've been more controlled, run offensive sets. You didn't see a lot of that last night. It was pretty grotesque offensively. There's no other way to really put it. I mean, I think there's a bright future for this team still. It's not to overreact from one game, but that was one of the worst offensive performances in the Will Wade era.
You know what else was grotesque? The conditions of the court. They had guys slipping and sliding and wiping and stopping the game. Like, what the hell is going on here? Is somebody not doing their job?
Does Auburn Arena's ventilation suck? Like, I'm serious. No, I'm curious because I understand it was apparently really hot and really humid outside in Auburn, Alabama yesterday. Guess what? It's been hot and humid pretty much all year. I don't think we've really had one cold snap, and we haven't had to stop 18 times in a game to swipe up the PMAC floor. I'm just throwing that out there. Do they have no ventilation in there? It was awful, and it was in the middle of possessions. That's what was frustrating. With 14 seconds left on the shot clock, the referee stepping in to stop the game. I don't really know if I've ever seen that before.
No, that's crazy, man. You can't tell me the players are that sweaty. And another thing, while we're complaining about things, this remote broadcast that they've been doing for a couple of years, at first I get it was because of COVID, but now it just seems to be a cost-cutting measure by ESPN, and that's cool, but I think the quality of the product is suffering big time. I felt bad for the play-by-play man there. I know, I do play-by-play. It's a big difference not being in the stadium, not having vantage points, not seeing certain things that you would only see if you're actually at the venue. So I think it's a pretty weak move by ESPN to have these guys call the game from across the country, and you could definitely tell the play-by-play guy was like, LSU ball, excuse me, Florida ball. Oh, wait, actually, my bad, it is LSU ball. Please bear with me, people. I'm tired of bearing with it. That's stupid.
Yeah, it definitely is impacting the game, for sure. I mean, look, we've got people at bowl games right now. It's 100% cost-cutting measure. I obviously want everything back to normal, and the broadcast was, and not only that, audio problems, too. I mean, it doesn't come through as clear as when they're on site. So we'll see. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully. I agree. I wish things would go back to normal too, Musa, but we still got remote broadcasters. We still got entire teams missing because of COVID. Hopefully in 2022, we can put at least some of this in the past.
Yeah, no, I mean, hopefully so. And hey, you know what? There was a little bit of good, more good news surrounding LSU basketball last night. Sharif O'Neal, after the game, tweeted out that he's cleared. So, cleared to get back out there in court. Hopefully we can see Sharif in a game soon, man. That's a guy who can definitely help with defense. You'll remember when Sharif O'Neal transferred into LSU, he did they were doing LSU, their media department was doing a series where they'd interview players or whatnot, and Sharif specifically talked about his defense in that clip. I remember that because I had to cut that clip about 3 or 4 different times for various shows on the station. So I'm just another body to add out there. He's about 6'8", and I mean, didn't show a great knack for scoring in the little bit of time that we've seen him, but man, give him some time. I think you're going to have a really good ball player potentially in Sharif O'Neal. So that was good, man. And he's been itching to get out there too. So hopefully we can see Sharif O'Neal out there, and it's just another body for the rotation for LSU as they go forward in SEC play. Yeah,
at least he can be on the court. This is a guy that's really been struggling with injuries, and a lot of fans had high expectations for him after he came over, transferred to LSU. Obviously, he's the son of Shaquille O'Neal, and at least hopefully he can end his career on the court. Hopefully this is in the past. As far as to what he'll contribute, wasn't he a decent shooter too, coming in, transferring from LSU? I mean, the one memory I have of watching him is him knocking down a three.
Yeah, I mean, he can shoot, but I mean, look, no. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I haven't seen enough of Sharif O'Neal to tell you. I know what game you're talking about. It was the game against Utah State where he would knock down a couple of threes. I don't know. I don't have his career stats in front of me to see how many games he's played, but it hasn't been many. So that's one reason I think for the excitement to get Sharif O'Neal out there, and that's something I'm excited to see going forward for LSU basketball. Grab a break, come back, continue rolling along here on AFR. Stay here.
AFR.
Look, everyone has dreams. Every single one of us. And our dreams often vary. Maybe your dream is owning a home. Maybe your dream is starting a business. Maybe your dream is sending your kids to college or taking that dream vacation, whatever it is. But unfortunately, all too often, dreams are the first things we set aside when things get tough. That's where Hancock Whitney comes in. My bank, Hancock Whitney. Their mantra is your dream, our mission, and they mean it because Hancock Whitney is not just a bank. At Hancock Whitney, there are friends, there are neighbors, they're members of our community. At Hancock Whitney and their financial centers, they've been helping make dreams a reality for more than 120 years across the Gulf Coast, and they can do the same for you. So visit HancockWhitney.com or stop by a financial center and see how they make your dreams their mission. Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender, all loans and accounts subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Choose My Bank. Make My Bank your bank, the bank that'll make your dreams come true. Hancock Whitney Bank. HancockWhitney.com.
Former LSU Tiger Jermaine Juice Williams is the owner of Tiger Root.
Market for an all-new Toyota vehicle. Come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Thank you, Acadiana, for 54 years of allowing Corval Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
The New Orleans Saints will close out their home schedule of the regular season this Sunday afternoon when they host the Carolina Panthers. 3:25 kickoff. Saints a 6.5-point favorite in that game. Getting some guys back off the COVID list. Activated 11 off the list yesterday. Did add Marcus Williams. When you look at the other side, Mario, the Carolina Panthers, they're starting to struggle a little bit with some COVID-19 as well.
Yeah, they are. They placed a Hassan Reddick, who's a Pro Bowler this year as a defensive end, on the COVID list yesterday. He joins a couple of key starters on Panthers defense specifically that are already on that list, including Brian Burns, Marquise Hayes, and linebacker Shaq Thompson. But the good news for Carolina is with the new NFL rules, you only have to wait 5 days as opposed to 10 days now. There is a chance that they can get those guys back. Apparently, they were diagnosed on Monday, so it's kind of up in the air, but there is a chance that they can come back. And that would be significant, Musso, because if those guys could come back, specifically Reddick, that could be an advantage for Carolina because the Saints' offensive line right now not playing well at all. And we know that Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead being out are a big part of that. But even if you look throughout the whole course of the season, this is according to Nick Underhill on his latest story, NewOrleans.football, the Saints have allowed pressure on 3.1% of their passing plays this season, 16th overall. Not terrible, but not exactly what you want after you gave those big money extensions to Ramczyk and to Andres Pete a couple of years ago as well. Eric McCoy has played really well throughout his career. Cesar Ruiz has played really poorly throughout his career. And it's gotten much worse with the injuries, Moose. So in the games without Armstead and Ramczyk this season, the team has allowed pressure on 3.6% of their passing plays. Doesn't seem like that big of a number, but that would rank 27th in the NFL this season. So they need to do a better job of, first, before anything, getting the run game going against the Panthers' run defense that has struggled. But they also got to keep whatever quarterback is back there upright because that's been a big problem all year.
And for what it's worth, the status of both Ramczyk and Armstead is up in the air for this Sunday. Ryan Ramczyk is still on the COVID-19 reserve list, and for what it's worth, he's also been dealing with this knee for way longer than the Saints thought. He didn't go on IR, but he might as well have because he's been out for more than 3 weeks anyway, and we really don't have an answer on when he's going to be back. Teron Armstead was questionable for the game on Monday, but ended up being a no-go, ended up being out, and would not have practiced yesterday had the Saints had practice on a short week, so they'll hit the practice field today. But in the estimated injury report, Teron Armstead would have been listed as did not practice. So that's not a great sign. You're talking about the pressure rate. That's a huge number. But, I mean, just in general, what it does for the offense on the Saints, it just makes it – they're stuck in the mud even more. I mean, they're not a dynamic unit anyway this year. But when they don't have Ramczyk and Armstead, who are arguably the best tackle tandem in the league, it struggles, obviously, with the pressure rate, as you're talking about, but even getting Kamara going. And the screen game, everything. The Saints, for all the talk and everything they've invested in the offensive line, man, the injuries have just decimated that unit so hard. I mean, Throckmorton has filled in admirably, but better at right guard than he has been at left.
Yeah, I think you can say the same thing about Hurst. He's had some bad moments throughout the season too, but given the situation he's kind of been thrust in, I think he's played pretty okay as well. And I agree, it's not even just in the stats. You could see throughout the game. I was actually talking to Kate about this earlier in the week. You know, you see every game almost once or twice a game, guys bump into each other along the offensive line. You see other times Alvin Kamara or one of the Saints running backs run into one of their offensive linemen's butt. So it disrupts the rhythm, and it has not been the same with that unit. Where the Saints might have an advantage in this game, hopefully, is on defense, because the Panthers' offensive line also nothing to write home about. They've been struggling big time, and the Saints haven't even had to bring pressure the last couple of games, Moose. So they've been getting it with the front four. Marcus Davenport, I think, is kind of finally living up to the hype, at least recently. And Cam Jordan is looking like prime Cam Jordan. So if they're able to continue to do that, you'll at least have an advantage on defense.
And the sacks that Cam Jordan's coming up with are in big spots in the game. That's what might be the most encouraging signs of that. And yeah, I'm with you on Marcus Davenport. And they should have a really nice day against the whole Saints defense. Should have a really nice day against the Panthers offense, which has just been a revolving door at quarterback, if we're being honest. I mean, I know Sam Darnold's going to start. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Cam Newton at some point in this game. That's just how it's been going. When Cam Newton's been starting, he's been getting benched, and eventually someone else has been coming in. The one guy you won't see is P.J. Walker. He's out for the game. But Saints defense going to be back full strength. Getting Demario Davis back and Quan Alexander back is going to be huge. Probably be without Marcus Williams, but you should have everybody else in the secondary. So I would think the Saints defense will thrive against the Panthers.
Hopefully, man. It feels like they haven't won a home game in forever. I know the last one was against Tampa Bay on Halloween 2 months ago, but it honestly feels a little bit longer than that. But one bit of good news that I will tell you, I noticed during the last show, Mincy, our friend Ben Mintz, Barstool Sports, says that he's going to be in the building. And the last time the Saints won, Mincy was in the building against Tampa Bay. So
Halloween, that's true.
Hopefully that could bring us some good luck.
The Mincy effect.
The Mincy effect.
The Mincy effect.
On the same weekend as the Sugar Bowl.
On the same week. Hey, probably some good luck for Ole Miss there, too, as well. We'll have plenty more Saints throughout the show. Mike Triplett of ESPN will join us at 5:15. Grab a break here. Come back on the other side. We'll talk with Ron Higgins from Tiger Rag. Recap a little bit more of LSU, Auburn, and hoops. Put a button on that and turn the page to LSU, Kentucky, set for a 6 p.m. tip on Tuesday. Stick around. That's next here on AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org/Healthy Men. That's the Healthy Men Project. It's where you can go to learn more. It's where you can go to register for the Healthy Men Project. It is totally free to register. Totally free to register. This is just a mechanism to help you set health and wellness goals, to hold you accountable, and to incentivize you with great prizes. So go to brgeneral.org/Healthy Men. It'll begin in January. You'll get regular email check-ins with health tips, local perks. It's really an easy way to stay accountable, to share the progress you're making, no matter how big or small. If it's weight loss, if it's to get healthy checkups regularly, and you'll get access to a host of different benefits like nutrition consults and free classes and a lot of stuff. So go sign up today at brgeneral.org/Healthy Men. That's brgeneral.org/Healthy Men.
Along with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood.
Isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
LSU men's basketball team suffered their first loss of the season last night, now 12-1, 70-55 at the hands of the Auburn Tigers. Continue recapping that. Welcome on Ron Higgins, the editor of Tiger Rag, on Twitter at Ron Higg, Higg. Ron, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good, y'all. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Pushing forward here to the new year. We'll get into specifics from the game, of course, but I guess first just start with overall reaction to LSU's first loss of the year.
They came out and played stupid. Really, just basically when you jack up 11 3-pointers in your first 16 field goal attempts, and you're like 241st in the nation in 3-point percentage, just dumb basketball, and it puts you in a hole that you have to get out of, and you twice cut 6 points in each half, and you turn the ball over 3 times straight. They kind of did it to themselves. The fact they played that bad and still had a chance to win in some bizarre way is encouraging, but they just can't go out and not value the basketball on possessions and just jack up threes. Really, they don't really have any great 3-point shooters. Days to a certain extent, but this is not a 3-point shooting team. You would like to see somebody make a mid-range jump shot, but apparently that's not their package. Last year, LSU had Cam Thomas do that. He had a mid-range game that really helped them. But this team doesn't have that. But it wins with defense and turning the ball over, forcing teams to create turnovers, and they couldn't do that last night. And so you learn from it, and you move on. It doesn't get any easier. We got Kentucky on Tuesday, but again, he had to kind of shuffle his lineup last night. Brandon Murray wasn't available and played somebody who hadn't played all year. Just stunning that he pulled somebody off the bench who hadn't played a minute, and wow, Justice Williams played pretty well.
Yeah,
you kind of served notice to Eric Gaines a little bit, like, you know what, you keep jacking up threes and missing them, you're going to sit you down.
So that was actually going to be my next question. It was related to Eric Gaines. And Will Wade's talked about him a lot as somebody who's key to LSU's success. He had a really rough night last night. How concerned should LSU and LSU fans maybe be about Eric Gaines?
Well, he missed 21 straight threes. I'd be concerned about that. I'd be concerned about his decision making. I'd be concerned about that. I'd be concerned about that he doesn't know his own limitations. I'd be concerned about that. Eric's a really good defensive player, and he's really good at taking the ball to the basket and getting fouled. He's not a good outside shooter, and he kind of needs to kind of play to that strength. Obviously, teams know that. They're going to back off. I don't know how anybody can miss 21 straight threes. It's just almost impossible. And I also believe this. I believe anybody can make themselves a good shooter if they really want to. It just requires you putting in a hell of a lot of work before practice and after practice. And, basically understanding your shot, what goes right when your shot goes in, what goes wrong when your shot doesn't go in. And once you figure that out, you're a good shooter. But apparently, I know they've worked with him, but he doesn't quite understand that yet.
Ron, were you surprised that Walker Kessler was as dominant as he was last night? We know that he's one of the best centers in America, was number 1 in block rate in the USA coming into this game, but he was looking like Dikembe Mutombo out there on defense with 11 blocks, a triple-double with double-digit blocks to go with 10 rebounds and 16 points. Efton Reed on the other side really struggled offensively as well, going 1 for 7 in the game and only scoring 2 points. Again, we know that Walker Kessler is a good player, but were you disappointed in just how not physical LSU was compared to Auburn and how much success Walker Kessler ended up having?
Yeah, Walker Kessler looked like he was unbelievable. And I thought that, and I thought Efton just really was probably too deliberate, a little bit too slow in his moves. You just, as soon as you catch him on someone like that, you just got to take it right at him. You can't sit there and organize your footwork or whatever you do. And he's got great footwork in the post. But guys like that, you've got to make a quick decision because somebody with that height can make up a lot of space in a hurry. They made him look better than he is, honestly. And LSU tried to do their best to foul him out and give Kessler credit, man. He knew how to block shots without getting called for fouls. In that sense, most of the time you get to get a guy to foul out like that, you've got to take the ball right up in his grill. You can't double pump. You can't hang. You can't try to, go around his arms. You just basically got to go right through his chin and his chest to force a contact to, get a call. And LSU didn't do that.
So now they'll turn the page. They got Kentucky coming in here on Tuesday, a 6 p.m. tip in the Maravich Center. Is this loss for LSU ultimately probably a good thing? I mean, Will Wade for the past, it feels like 2 weeks after every blowout they've had, has just been saying, well, this isn't good enough, this isn't good enough. Now that you see it, I mean, you can say it, but it's one thing else for them to actually see it now. Is this something that they really take and build on going into Kentucky?
Oh, absolutely. They can play that game film all day and say, look at here, why are you taking this shot? Why are you taking this shot? What do you mean? Why are you handling the fast breaks like this? What about this ball? Yeah, I mean, he can use this film as an example big time. The only thing that I guess out of this game I didn't like that people all of a sudden think LSU didn't play a good non-conference schedule because Auburn beat them badly. Let's look at the ESPN projected NCAA tournament bracket, the most recent one. They had 5 teams in the NCAA tournament in the upcoming tournament. They projected LSU was beaten already this year. So LSU's played a good schedule. I mean, did they play top 10 teams? No. Did they play a lot of really good mid-majors? Yeah. Did I figure this was probably going to happen to Auburn? Probably so. LSU doesn't play well there. But again, the encouraging thing about this thing is this was their worst game of the year. They were just awful. And yet, they had a shot at it in the second half. They did down by 6. If there's any kind of shred of shining light in that game, it's that. This team does not ever quit. You give them that. They play hard. They don't always play smart, but they always play hard. Sometimes playing hard overcomes not playing smart, but last night wasn't one of those times.
Ron Higgins is our guest here on AFR, longtime Baton Rouge media member, editor of Tiger Rag magazine. And let's talk a little bit about the next game, Ron, for LSU. Home opener in Southeastern Conference play against Kentucky coming up on January 4th. Currently, the Wildcats ranked number 18 in America, 10-2 on the season. They won their SEC opener 83-56 in a blowout victory over Missouri. What are your thoughts on John Calipari's team this year, and how do you think they match up with LSU?
I think they match up quite well. I was kidding Will Wade before the year because all of the SEC is all about, everybody's got a ton of transfers. I think Auburn had like 4 of them in their top 6 players. And I told Will Wade before the season, I said, you know what, the whole SEC gets to find out about how Coach Cal coaches every year, since he has a new team every year. Now the rest of the league gets to find out about it. This is Kentucky had an uncharacteristic, really bad year last year. Not a great year. Didn't play well. Came back and is honestly has put together a pretty good team. They rebound the heck out of basketball, and they've beaten some pretty decent teams along the way. I mean, it's rare when you see, even though North Carolina was the last second opponent to beat North Carolina by almost 30. That's pretty impressive. That's North Carolina. I don't care if they're not that great this year or they're in the process of improving. Nobody beats North Carolina by that much. I think this is again LSU's SEC schedule is front loaded. It's got all its toughest SEC games in the month of January, and I think there's eight games starting with Auburn to the end of January. Look, if LSU can come out of that 4-4, they'll be doing well. I mean, after Kentucky, you got Tennessee, and then you have Florida, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee again. And again, it's a front-loaded schedule. And if they can kind of get through this month and break even, it'll be a good deal. But again, they got to correct. They can't play as bad as they did the other night. They just can't afford to do that, and they just got to stop jacking up threes. It's almost like these teams are giving the LSU these 3-point looks, knowing they can't make them. So just like, here, we're going to give you the shot. until you prove you can make one, we'll keep giving you. We can shoot as much as you want, and they didn't make them.
Yeah, the 11 threes in the first 16 shots was pretty tough to stomach last night. Ron, switching gears if we could before we go, I'd love to get a couple football questions in here if we could. Starting, I guess, first with just a thought on Matt House being hired as defensive coordinator.
I think it's a really good. I like the hire. He's got a good lineage all the way through, and what he did at Kentucky. If you can if you can coach well at Kentucky. I think his score defense was like number 6 in the nation. You got to realize Kentucky does not get the cream of the crop in recruiting. It's not a good football state. It's a basketball state. So there's certain schools in the league who have to go outside their state to put together a good team, and Kentucky's one of them. And I think he was outstanding at Kentucky. And then I think his whole resume kind of speaks for itself. So it's another, I guess, coach in place of Ryan Kelly, and then we'll just see how the offensive coordinator plays out. Get the guy in Cincinnati, hopefully, and but he's been delivered about his hires. There hasn't been after the signing day, it's not a big rush to hire coaches. You kind of can take your time and exhale. I think that's what he's doing.
LSU's got the Texas Bowl coming up in 5 days, Ron, against Kansas State, and we've honestly heard very little about the game. We know LSU has low numbers. We know that the quarterback situation is undecided. Are you hearing anything about the possibility of the game not being played, and are you hearing anything at all about LSU's quarterback situation?
The only thing I know about the quarterback situation is probably be John Trey Kirkland. I know Nussmeier applied for some kind of waiver. I can't imagine the NCAA giving LSU any sort of break on anything because they really haven't done that. The last couple of years they've been under investigation. So I just think, and I don't know what the waiver. I don't know how you can get that waiver. I don't know how you would word that. The NCAA would feel sorry enough for you to give you a waiver. I think they'll play the game. Yeah, I think they'll play it. These teams can stay out of, COVID protocol. You can probably play these games. Some of these games have been really suspect about, the way they've been canceled the last moment, like UCLA canceled like 4 hours before the Holiday Bowl, Hawaii canceling after Memphis flew all the way to Hawaii, canceling the day before the bowl. Some of these games are pretty suspect, and you wonder if it's really COVID-related or something else.
Actually, yeah, man, the Holiday Bowl, the 5 hours before, that was some poor NC State. First, they get booted out of Omaha in the College World Series, and then 5 hours before their bowl game, UCLA backs out. But we'll see. LSU, Kansas State, 5 days from now. Ron Higgins, Tiger Rag, editor. We appreciate the time, Ron. Thanks as always. Happy New Year.
All right, take care, guys. We'll see you.
That is Ron Higgins. Y'all follow him on Twitter at Ron Higg, H-I-G-G. Grab a break, come back, close out hour number 1 of AFR on the other side. Stick around.
AFR.
If you are even thinking about selling your home, I'm going to give you a phone number. I'm going to give you the only phone number that you will need. I'm going to give you Darren James's phone number. It's Darren's cell. Like, you can call this number, you can text this number, and you are literally calling or texting the phone number that Darren James has in his pocket or on his hip. I'm talking about the realtor that sells more homes than anybody. A guy on the Wall Street Journal is listed the top 1,000 realtors in America based on the number of homes sold. You ready? 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Of course, you can go to the website, agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need to maximize your return on the home, you want a hassle-free, pleasant experience, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Yo, Jacob here, and when I needed a full roof replacement, the only company...
Come on down to Happy Town to pre-order your new Toyota today. We also have a large number of pre-owned vehicles on location. Come celebrate Toyotathon with us at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, GMFSmortgage.com. And right now, our friends at GMFS Mortgage, all throughout the month of December, their Go Local campaign is helping support local businesses during the month of December. All throughout December, if you go to GMFSmortgage.com, you see the Go Local tab right there on the flipper on the homepage. You can get all the info about how you can help support local businesses and win $1,000 per week in gift cards to great local businesses. So GMFS Mortgage has been so ingrained in our communities for more than 20 years now. Not only are they helping us financially, helping you realize the American dream of home ownership, maybe save money each month by refinancing your mortgage, they're also helping small businesses with their Go Local campaign all throughout the month of December. Log on to GMFSmortgage.com to learn more. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives.
Keeping an eye here on the Music City Bowl, Mario. 21-16, Tennessee in the lead there. 38 seconds to the half. Vols with the ball. Oh, they actually might have just fumbled it. We'll see what the ruling on the field is. Purdue recovered it for what it's worth, if it is a fumble indeed. Earlier today, though, also, wait, by the way, great crowd at the Music City Bowl.
Yeah.
Biggest crowd for one of these, non-New Year's Six or semifinal games that I've seen. Obviously, it's in Nashville. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's close, obviously really close to Knoxville and across the state, but it's even not too far from Purdue. So, I mean, they've just about packed out that stadium. It looks really good. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, it's a good venue to host an event or a game. I agree with you. Nashville, everything's close by. It honestly kind of has a New Orleans feel to it a little bit, but a little bit cleaner, if we're being honest.
You're not wrong.
It's basically, that's the main difference I see. But they're both really lively towns, and I agree. That's usually a fun bowl game.
It was a fumble recovered by Purdue, so the Boilermakers, the ruling on the field is a fumble. I'm sorry, I didn't know they were going to review. I take that back. So the play is under review. Earlier today in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, North Carolina took the L, but that's not really why people were tuning in. People were tuning in for a couple reasons. Number one, to see what snacks Mike Golick Jr. were going to dunk in mayo, and there was plenty of them, between an Oreo cookie, a donut. There was a few more, and it was all kind of gross. But they were also interested in which coach would get mayo dumped on him after the win, and that was Shane Beamer, and I must say it was pretty gross.
I feel a little bad for Matt Brown. I know I was talking a little bit of smack about him off mic before the show, but really, really disappointing season for North Carolina. And we talked a little bit before, earlier in the week, Musso, about both their reactions going into the game, about are you willing to get the mayo dumped on you? Is that something that you're okay with? And if you remember, Shane Beamer's response was like, acceptable, but he wasn't really pumped up about it, saying, I'm not a big mayo guy. I mean, I'll gladly take one for the team on that one if it means we won a football game, but woof. Meanwhile, Matt Brown, who's been a great college football coach, going to be a Hall of Famer one day, said, if we won a game at this moment, I'd let someone hit me in the face with a frying pan. I don't care. So you can tell which guy is towards the end and kind of valuing the wins a little bit more, and which one is the up-and-comer.
The two things. We showed the video of Shane Beamer getting the mayo dumped on him. If you're watching at the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, he did not look like he enjoyed that at all. He could not get out of that chair. While watching Mario, look, they dump it straight down his back. And they realize, wait, we didn't get his head. So they as soon as it hits his back, though, he's trying to get up out of the chair already. And then they just dump it all over his head. And he's still trying to get up. And they're still pouring mayo on the poor guy. I feel bad for him. Now, the second part, to what Mac Brown said, maybe I'm just a bad person, but seeing someone get hit with a frying pan actually might be more entertaining than the mayo dump.
Maybe you won't get a frying pan, but I made the joke earlier about the Armed Forces Bowl. You could pour a bunch of weapons on somebody. That would hurt a lot. Maybe you won't see something like that, but I think we are going to see some wackier and wackier things here, Moose. So we're going to see stuff poured on football coaches that we would have never thought would be poured on football coaches.
Like mayo?
And the funniest thing about all of it is going to be the same as that thing that you're seeing with Shane Beamer. They're going to want to do it. They're not going to want to be a bad sport, especially if it's a school that needs the exposure, but it's not going to be fun for them. And it's going to be a funny, really, really funny thought for all fans of college football.
And it should be noted as well, a great gesture by the Duke's Mayo Bowl, $10,000 to a charity of Shane Beamer's choice after allowing them to dump, I think it was 4.5 gallons of mayo on this man's back and head. And this is after he got Gatorade dumped on him. So he's just got a mixture of Gatorade and mayo all over. I mean, the post-game shower had to feel really, really good for Shane Beamer.
And a lot of people are kind of hating on this, Moose. So there's a tweet right now gaining a lot of traction. This is at Dennis Dodd. If you could find his Twitter, Danny, that'd be awesome. If not, no big deal. He's a national college football writer for CBS Sports, and he tweeted earlier today about being mad about this. He's saying, my God, we've reached a point where hyping a condiment being poured on an adult male passes for programming. When we had the discussion about bowl relevance, I'll start right here. Listen, I get where he's coming from, but try not to be such a stick in the mud, man. This is fun. I'm enjoying this.
What's that guy's name?
Dennis Dodd. He works for CBS Sports.
Dennis Dodd from CBS. Oh, come on, Dennis. You're better than that. That's awesome. That was awesome. You had how many people tune in to the Duke's Mayo Bowl and go through all of just to see the winning coach get mayo dumped on him? And the marketing was great by Duke's. They built it up for 2 weeks prior. It was gross, but I thought it was funny. You got people in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat saying they accidentally hit Shane Beamer in the head with the tub. I didn't see that in the video, but I mean, he could not get out of that chair fast enough. Just about at halftime here in the Music City Bowl, it was a fumble recovered by Purdue. They hit a long pass on the next play and eventually got down inside the 5. He eventually punched it in. So Purdue up 23-21, 19 seconds remaining in the half. Looks like they will take the lead so far into the half. For what it's worth, the over looking pretty good in that one. Overs 15-9 in the bowl. So hope you have the over in the Music City Bowl. And somebody in this studio, we won't say who, is pretty excited that Purdue has the lead right now. But that person will remain nameless.
As he will. I'll say wrapping up here, love Jeff Brom, XFL legend.
The Spoiler Makers, the Purdue Spoiler Makers. Hour number two of AFR coming at you next. Stick around.
AFR.
The number of children entering the court system due to abuse.
Bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Yo, Jake here from Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. The place is going to be convenient for you during that inconvenient time, and it's even more convenient now. Now you have 8 convenient locations, with the Bruley location just opening up. So go check them out online, patientplusuc.com, because remember, they are your place for your sniffles, for your colds, for your stitches, for your COVID test. They have all that available over at Patient Plus. For more information, visit them at patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Call Louisiana 811 before you dig so the site can be marked. It's free and it's the law. Louisiana 811. Call or click before you dig.
At Small Sliders, we're obsessively focused on serving the best cheeseburger slider. Being fussy about the smalls things pays off. One cook-to-order victory at a time. We're Smalls in. Visit Small Sliders on Nicholson across from Tigerland and now Bluebonnet across from Perkins Row.
People often think they can handle their claim on their own. That's exactly what the insurance companies want you to think. If I can't get you more, even after our fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 104.5 WNXX Jackson, 104.9 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge.
Mayo Bowl, and of course tomorrow it's the college football playoff semifinals. First game up, 4 p.m. Eastern. Bearcats of Cincinnati, the 4th seed, taking on the number 1 seed Alabama. That'll be followed. That's in the Cotton Bowl, and that'll be followed by the Orange Bowl between Georgia and Michigan. Those games coming up tomorrow on ESPN, ESPN Radio, and of course on the app.
It's Keith from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, hoping you're spending as much time with your wonderful family as possible. When the calendar turns to 2022, we'll be right here talking about the NFL playoff picture. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour number 2 of After Further Review. Matt Musso, Mario Jerez. We're sitting in for Matt Moscona. One more day, last show of 2022. Next time we're on the air, we'll be back Monday in 2020. So that's the last show of 2022. It's the last show of 2021. I'm tired. This is Mario. We've now gone 13 hours this week, I think, on air. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Almost there. I've been here since 6 a.m. as I have every day, not complaining, but we are tired already for the new year.
Mistakes, they may happen occasionally like that. It is not the last show of 2022. It's the last show of 2021. Monday will be the first show of 2022. We are off tomorrow. Still plenty to come here, though. Ronnie Rantz is going to join us in the next segment. Then in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll talk to Ryan Black. He covers Kansas State. Talk a little Texas Bowl to start the final hour of the show. And then Mike Triplett will be along in his normal spot where he visits with Matt every week. And now we will talk Saints-Panthers. Final chance to talk Saints-Panthers again, as we will not be here tomorrow. A little NFL right now, though, Mario, if you don't mind. Some news involving quarterbacks and very well-known legendary quarterbacks in the NFL. I guess start first with what happened today, and Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers just about all but said Monday is going to be his last game in Heinz Field.
Yeah, and Ben Roethlisberger has had a legendary career. I know the tail end of it hasn't been too good. He's looked really bad in spurts this season, but I still remember his rookie year. I think it was back in 2004, 2005. The Steelers go 15-1 right off the bat. They win the Super Bowl. That might have been his second year. Yeah, second year was 2005. Rookie year was 2004. But he was the youngest quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl before Patrick Mahomes took that title. And that's why we did our pick segment in the last show, Early Line. And the Steelers are one of my picks just because I think that there's no way he's going to lose his last home game in Pittsburgh to the Browns. And he's 24-3 against Cleveland in his career. And Big Ben, he's somebody that I will miss in the NFL. Honestly, Musso, I think he had a really unique kind of blend of talent. He was the first quarterback that at least I saw that was just that hard to take down in the pocket. Like, just the size that he had and the way that he was able to maneuver was something really unique before I saw Ben Roethlisberger. So, honestly, I kind of hope that he wins the game just so he can not lose his last home game to an arch rival that he almost always beats. And I think that the Steelers will take care of business. But salute to Ben Roethlisberger if this is indeed his swan song.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I don't have like a giant connection to Ben Roethlisberger. I'll be honest, I've never really been a Steelers fan. But when you look at what Ben has done in his 18-year career, and to still, albeit right now, not performing at, the level that we're used to seeing him go through, he was at one time one of the most dominant quarterbacks in the game. And the Steelers, likewise, teams. In what he's meant kind of to the city of Pittsburgh as well. He says he doesn't speak in absolutes, doesn't speak in guarantees, but it's probably it. It's going to be a really emotional night. And look, it's also worthy to point out the Steelers have had a flawless record on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and they've been really, really good as underdogs, too, under Mike Tomlin. I think that trend will continue. And I think that Big Ben a lot of times is compared to Eli Manning, the 2 rings, and the stats might be a little bit comparable. They both played for a really, really long time, but I think Ben was the better quarterback. If we're going to have that debate, I think the career that he had to play as long as he did and be effective as he did was really impressive. And really the biggest regret, I think, in the career of Ben Roethlisberger will be towards the end of his prime, and the fact that those Pittsburgh teams that had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and still a little bit somewhat young Ben Roethlisberger couldn't do really any damage, and that situation ended really ugly. He himself has said he has a lot of regret with how he handled that situation, not even just on the field, but off the field, communicating to those guys. So if there is one regret in the great career of Ben Roethlisberger, that would probably be where he goes first.
I look at Ben Roethlisberger and I say there's a guy who's going to enjoy retirement because it's just going to be a weight lifted off his shoulder. Like whenever I hear Ben Roethlisberger is retiring or probably retiring, the first image that pops in my head is the picture of him at training camp a few years ago where he's just all wrapped up in all the bandages. And it's just like, this guy had nothing to give then. Nothing really left to give then, and he's still going. That's good. Look, say the same situation happens to the Steelers next year that's happened to the Saints where they really needed a quarterback and they called Drew Brees. I don't think anyone's going to be calling Ben. And if they do, Ben's going to look at the caller ID and probably just hit ignore. Like, that's a man who's going to have a weight lifted off his shoulder when it's finally all said and done, and he's just going to be good.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Might not be him playing golf, sends back to the team that calls him. Might be him sitting on the couch because he deserves that. And he's been really banged up. He still played in most of the games, but you can tell as Danny pulls up the picture.
I mean, look at our guy.
Of him looking like the fish in SpongeBob with the full body cast. But I agree with you. That looks like a man that's ready to retire. But like I said, props to him. Similar to Drew Brees, he probably could have hung it up a few years ago, and maybe he knows that his team isn't close to a Super Bowl per se, but it's hard to walk away, man. When that's all you've known for most of your life, it's really tough to walk away. You know that it was for Drew Brees. He mulled retirement multiple times. I'm sure Big Ben did too. And like I said, it would be unfortunate if it was a bad end, especially if they lost to Cleveland in the last game, but you have to remember his career in a positive fashion.
Then the other news surrounding quarterbacks is still getting a little bit of run today in the NFL is what Aaron Rodgers said yesterday when talking about where he might play next year, which, first of all, the Packers are the number one seed in the NFL. Why are we actually asking him about this right now? But they did, and Aaron Rodgers said, wherever it is, it'll be a quick decision.
Yeah, and he
won't drag it out.
I think he's somebody who kind of maybe doesn't necessarily know what team he wants to go to, but definitely knows the kind of progress that he wants to follow and exactly what he's looking for. And when he does find a fit, he's going to be able to make it happen really, really fast. And I saw a stat that was crazy the other day, Musso. If the Packers win this last game against the last couple of games, or no, if they win this one game against the Vikings, they could lose the second one. They'll be the first team in NFL history with 13 straight wins in 3 straight seasons. The Saints came so close. They had 13 and 13 and then 12 a few years ago, but that's a crazy stat that the Packers could achieve if they do that. And we talk about it whenever we bring up the Packers. Sometimes I almost feel bad for Matt LaFleur because every time that the Packers lose, he's going to get all the blame. And every time that the Packers win, only Aaron Rodgers, it feels like, is going to get all the credit. So that's a very, very interesting situation going on in Green Bay. But I guess the bright spot for their fans is, as you said, they're arguably the best team in the NFL right now, and they have a good chance to get the number 1 seed.
I am still of the belief that Aaron Rodgers will not be back in Green Bay next year. I just don't think you go through all that trouble that he did to get the last year of his contract voided, to drag it out through the offseason like he did. He was obviously very unhappy, and I don't think that's quelled through 1 year. I know he's gone out of his way to compliment the GM, just like unsolicited throughout this season, but come on. I don't think that relationship's fully mended. This obviously has significance here for the Saints. I mean, most people think that New Orleans will be in the market for a quarterback in the offseason. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is really a realistic possibility, but if he's free to go wherever he wants, it's something you absolutely explore because he's still playing at an MVP level right now. He's the reigning MVP of the league, and is anyone playing better than him in the NFL right now?
Yeah, and I'm sure he has great respect for Sean Payton, and the Saints have certain areas of the team that are championship caliber. So Aaron Rodgers would definitely be willing to join the Saints, I think, if the opportunity presented itself. Not just that, I think that you should remember that the Saints were really close to getting Tom Brady, according to reports. He thought about joining the Saints before Drew Brees decided to not retire. So that's something that the Saints have explored before. Russell Wilson has also mentioned some whispers when you're talking about this kind of thing. But reading, just based on what we know so far, I agree with you. I do not see Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. For their fans, I think the best case scenario is they go all the way and win the Super Bowl. But given everything we saw over the offseason about the conditions that he had with the team and you know him, the possibility of him being traded, I really don't see him back in Green Bay another season either.
Aaron Rodgers does, in fact, leave Green Bay. Expect them to trade up in the draft for a potential quarterback, although not the best draft to probably be looking for a quarterback. But I don't think Jordan Love going to be the answer to your problems.
I was going to say, you're not feeling the love.
Not feeling the love. And how weird is that going to be if Aaron Rodgers does end up? I mean, I guess we always say that, how weird it's going to be to see Tom Brady in another uniform, but that's worked out fine. Peyton Manning, Brett Favre. But the Packers went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and now Rodgers is probably on his way out, and you're going to go to Jordan Love? Do they maybe get involved for potential Russell Wilson? I mean, it could be a really interesting offseason for quarterbacks in the NFL.
I hear all the time people talk about the Saints being a disappointment, just winning one ring. Is the last two quarterbacks for Green Bay and all the time that passed, is it a disappointment that you only got 2 rings after all that time with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre? I mean, those are 2 all-time quarterbacks.
Outside looking in, I would say yes. I mean, that's just outside, again, no connection to the Packers at all, but I would imagine there's plenty of people up in Green Bay, up in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field that feel that way. Sure.
You talking about Green Bay? You talking about this studio on most days?
Both. Same place. Same place. One's just slightly south. This is Lambeau Field South.
And it just shows you how hard it is to win in the NFL, Musso. I mean, the Packers had some heartbreaking losses throughout the Aaron Rodgers tenure. If this is indeed his last year, the game against Arizona in the playoffs where they hit the Hail Mary but end up still losing in the end. Brandon Bostic having the ball bounce off his face on the onside kick.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, when they had the NFC Championship game 1 against the Seahawks. Like, it's kind of really similar to the Saints, but it just goes to show you, again, how hard it is to win in the NFL. These are 2 all-time quarterbacks. Almost in a stretch of 30 years, they only won 2 rings. The same way Drew Brees, in my opinion, is a top 5 quarterback in NFL history, and he only has 1 ring. Dan Marino has 0 rings. So you see what I'm saying here.
Oh, I get it. I mean, look, yeah, you're not gonna hear. You're preaching to the choir, Mario. I'm all to have the debate that Drew Brees and Sean Payton, that era, doesn't get enough respect. Would you like to have another ring? No, absolutely. But who wouldn't? I mean, who wouldn't like to have more Super Bowl rings?
I think, yeah, like I said, it's dang near impossible to be a dynasty in the NFL. I think kind of the measure of success for teams like that is if you win a ring and then you're at least still in the mix. Like the Packers and the Saints, yeah, they only have 1 ring, but they definitely were not one and done throughout the Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers era. They were still at least in the mix, but just some heartbreaking stuff, onside kicks, blown calls, it goes that way. Sometimes stuff that doesn't even happen in the game alters these really, really big games and end up making the difference. So it just goes to show you, man, Aaron Rodgers, wherever he does go, it's definitely going to be a team that gives him the best possible chance to win that second ring.
The only dynasty in the NFL right now is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's the dynasty. I mean, was that not proven last year?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look, New England's had a really nice year this year, but I don't think they're going to go win the Super Bowl. I don't think Bill's going to bounce back year 2, maybe, but Brady has proved, I mean, he's the dynasty.
Yeah, so far. I mean, you go back and look at like some team dynasties in the 80s. You had the Cowboys and you had the Steelers in the 70s. Like this is really rare to have things like this. You see it a lot more in college football with like Clemson and Alabama, but amongst professionals, there are just so many factors at play. And obviously the quarterback is the most important position, but sometimes you could have the best quarterback in the world. It just doesn't go your way. That's what we've seen so far in the career of Aaron Rodgers. And again, after 13 straight wins, I would feel that Packers fans are maybe a little bit more anxious than they are excited because they've always fallen short ever since they got that first ring.
We'll see what happens. Interesting times. Quarterbacks in the NFL. The season's not even over yet, and it's going to be a really interesting offseason. Grab a break, come back. Ronnie Rantz joins us on the other side here on AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, and sports on TV. What more could you possibly want? How about sandwiches? Well, they've got those. What about salads? Pluckers actually has really underrated salads. Giant, gorgeous, fresh salads. You can actually eat healthy at Pluckers. Or you could just binge. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings tossed in your favorite sauce. You want to create your own menu item? Do it. They encourage the creativity. Great sides as well, like the cheese fries, the El Guapo dip, maybe the homemade blue cheese potato chips, holy macaroni, fried pickles. They got it all at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. The best place to watch the game, which game? Any game, is at Pluckers because you can eat wings, drink beer, and watch sports on TV. Remember, at Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Live big in the all-new 2021 G.
Uber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Second half of Music City Bowl underway. Tennessee driving. They're trailing Purdue 23-21. Again, somebody in this studio really needs Purdue to hold on in that one. Right now, I'll go to the phone line. Ronnie Rantz, Sports Shorts Radio, every Saturday here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Also does great work with Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Ronnie, how you doing?
What's up, fellas? How are y'all? How's the marathon week for you guys doing Moscona's show and doing your show? And how's that going?
Well, we're into hour 4:15 now. Hour
it's like
15.
The Jerry Lewis telethon.
Yeah, we're into hour number 15, and Mario's been here since 6 a.m. So that's he's really burning the candle at both ends.
Well, I want to apologize to all the listeners out there because no, I don't have COVID, but I do sound like hell, and I've got two people to blame for that. For whatever reason, I decided to act like I was a college kid last night and went in a mini RV to the Auburn LSU basketball game, an over and back experience to that absolute dumpster fire of a game, and an RV, coach, that is barely bigger than me, and just it was a nightmare experience, nightmare trip, a lot of things, a lot of stops, couldn't find diesel in a few stops. It was just terrible. It was terrible. And then now I wake up today and I'm feeling like hell because I think I sat under one of these vents in the back of the RV that I'm not 100% sure was filtered properly. You know, the air was filtered properly with this. So yeah, it's what a terrible day it was. The trip over to Auburn and back. The game was awful. and I feel awful. So 3 for 3.
Look, we can get into the game, but wait, if you were there, I need you to try to help me out with something here. On TV, it appeared the ventilation in that arena is terrible because it was just very humid. Did it feel hot and humid in there since they were having to stop the game so many times to wipe up the floor?
Yeah, no, not overly. No, I'm actually surprised. No, it didn't feel weird or anything like that. It was my first time in that arena. That's about 11 or 12 years old, that arena is. And it was pretty awesome environment. I like stadiums that aren't overly big. And, it only seats 9,000 people max. So if you have 6,000, 7,000 people in there, it feels like it's sold out. I mean, obviously last night was sold out, but if you only put 6,000 or 7,000 a game in a basketball arena that seats 9, it feels, you can't really tell the difference between 7 and 9. Well, if you only have 7,000 people at the PMAC, it's half full.
Right.
And, and obviously the PMAC is a 50-year-old building. I get that. But it was kind of neat to be in that smaller environment. I mean, the stands are right on top of you. There is no bad seat. It was a pretty cool environment. Obviously LSU probably had about 300 fans, probably 400 fans maybe sprinkled throughout the arena. And I mean, they just got mugged right when they got off the bus, pretty much.
Ronnie, you do a lot of play-by-play broadcasts, and so you know how you kind of have to toe the line sometimes with your crowd mic. You can't have it get too loud. And driving back from the station, listening to the game, it felt like Blair and Brady had the crowd mic a little bit too loud, but I guess that's just how lit it was inside of Auburn Arena. They talk a lot about the atmosphere there and how hard it is to play. How would you compare it to other college basketball venues that you've seen?
Well, I'll air on a couple buddies of mine. Casey McKenzie was with me, and actually Jordy Collada. I rode over there with him as well, and they've been around. They've seen more. And Casey was telling me probably next to Arkansas, the best in the league. He was pretty impressed. And I haven't seen as many basketball environments on the road, but it doesn't surprise me that Chris and John seem real loud because literally, how like at the PMAC, John Brady and Chris Blair, they sit on the first row of the bleachers, and there's probably, you can walk behind them and pat them on the back if you wanted, but I mean, there's like a 5-6 foot opening, there's about a 5-6 foot gap between the back of their chair and the first row of the bleachers or something. I mean, wide enough for two people shoulder to shoulder to walk by each other. Well, at Auburn, literally the person that's sitting behind Chris Blair and John Brady, on that press row, the person that's in the first row could literally kick them in the back. I mean, they're that close. You have to, so I mean, when I tell you that 9,000 people are in that building on top of each other, not uncomfortable. I mean, the state, your comfortable seats and all that, but it's just tiny. You could walk by the building on campus and not realize it's an arena. You might think it's like the library or something. It's not a typical arena-looking building, and it's tight, and it makes for a loud environment.
It certainly does. It's a tough place to play. One of only 2 venues that Will Wade has not won in yet in the SEC. Ronnie, LSU hired a defensive coordinator. You have a thought on Matt House?
Well, my thought is, I mean, it was the worst kept secret for a week, right? Everybody knew. But I like the fact that obviously Tyrann Mathieu likes it. Tyrann Mathieu's going to know more about it than most of us. And the other thing is that Matt House had Kentucky ties, and word was that Kentucky, if LSU had been able to get White from Kentucky, they were going to try to get House. Good hire, it seems. And clearly somebody Kelly wanted. He waited for him, and he got his guy.
Doesn't feel like it, Ronnie, but LSU is going to play a football game in 5 days. What are your thoughts on the Texas Bowl and the quarterback situation?
Well, I like the fact that I put a pretty good bet at LeBear's. I went to the window over there, bought my ticket a few weeks ago, and I got the line at Pick'em, and I took Kansas State. So that's all you need to know.
Oh, well, wait a minute now. No, I want to ask, how have your bowl picks been doing before I celebrate her?
Well, I haven't really. I kind of stayed away from bowl picks this year because with COVID and transfer portal and everything else, unless you make it your full-time job to stay on top of it and like literally make your picks up to the minute of kickoff, then you're just flipping a coin. I mean, you know, look at Nevada, for example. Nevada ends up playing a kid from, you know, St. Thomas More at quarterback, the 6'9" Cox kid from St. Thomas More, has had, like, you know, no starts in his college career other than JUCO, and they get destroyed. And, you know, but Nevada should have won that game. They had a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards, but he opted out. So, you know, I kind of stayed away from a few games. Although I'll tell you this, Jimmy Ott gave this advice years ago, and seems to be pretty good. And I think if you went back and tracked it this year, you'd say it's a pretty good one. Jimmy always said, take every dog prior to Christmas. So any bowl games prior to Christmas, take the dogs. And the dogs have done really well this year.
They have, in fact, favorites 15-9 against the spread. So plenty covering going on there from the underdogs this bowl season. Ronnie, I can't let you leave without asking at least one question about LSU baseball. So they were ranked preseason number 3 by Collegiate Baseball. I thought that was a tad high, just given some of the uncertainty on the mound. What about you?
100%. 100% that's too high. You know, you can't win nobody wins national championships anymore hitting the ball like LSU did 20 years ago, right? You know, you've got to be able to pitch it, number one, and then have timely hitting. And LSU's pitching is an absolute 100,000% question mark. Who's going to get the ball? How much are they going to pitch? What's the rotation? Do they have a rotation? You know, I mean, like, it is 100% a question mark. It will be a question mark all year. You know, and we'll have to wait and see. And now they got 20 of them, and they'll figure it out. You know, we hope they can find 10. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. They should not be ranked number 3.
Ronnie, what are your thoughts on the state of the New Orleans Saints? They need to win out and get some help and to even make the playoffs. It's been a really weird year, but all things considered, I think it's kind of impressive that they're still this close to 500 after all that's gone down. How would you describe the season so far, and how do you feel about their chances to make the playoffs?
You know, in some ways, I think Sean Payton has done a good job. You know, because, I mean, look at everything he's had to go. Now, everybody's dealing with COVID. Everybody's dealing with things. But, you know, losing Drew Brees, you know, Michael Thomas being the biggest thing. I mean, if you had Michael Thomas the whole year, I think things would be a lot different on offense. And then you've had not only the COVID issues, but then just you lose your quarterback, you lose your receiver, you have, you know, offensive line injuries have been crazy, you know, with Armstead and Ramczyk, and then COVID on top of that. So I think he's done a pretty good job, you know, holding it together, duct tape. But, you know, this is – I think that's doable. I think they can win the last 2 games. I think they can beat the Panthers at home. They're going to start Sam Darnold. They're benching Cam Newton. The Panthers are a dumpster fire. They might be firing their coach. They got their own problems. So I think Saints got 13 players back. Hopefully they'll get some more back. We know they got Taysom Hill back. DeMario Davis is back. So I like their chances to survive and advance. They may not cover 7.5 because they still have offensive line issues, and I don't know where they're going to be health-wise come Sunday, who's available and all that. But I think they can win, and then when you win, it comes down to, you know, the Dirty Bird game, and, you know, it's a coin flip at that point.
And it always seems like it comes down to the Dirty Birds. And it always
I'm wondering if it's going to be Matt Ryan's last game. That's what I'm curious.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. We were just talking earlier about Ben Roethlisberger pretty much all but saying, you know, Monday's going to be my last home game at Heinz Field. But that's interesting with Matt Ryan. You think maybe just his last game in general or with Atlanta?
Either or. I'm not. I think I'm one that likes to see Hall of Famers and franchise quarterbacks and people like that go out a year before, right? Like, I mean, like Drew Brees did it the right way. He could have played another year or two. He went out at the right time. I don't think Tom Brady's got to go out at all. But Matt Ryan, to me, he just cannot get out of his own way. He's and he's not doesn't have any help. They took Julio Jones away from him. They didn't have Ridley. I think he just I would like to see him retire before he gets benched or becomes Eli Manning.
Last one for me, Ronnie. How will you remember the career of Ben Roethlisberger? 2-time Super Bowl champion. I was saying he kind of had a unique set of skills and being so big and being able to stand tall in the pocket and be as effective as he was for as many years as he was. It's going to be his last game in Pittsburgh this Sunday against the Browns. How will you remember the career of Big Ben?
Well, I thought early on he benefited from a great defense. The first 5 years of his career, he was just kind of like a manager. And then he finally became the guy. Definitely a Hall of Famer. I remember him at the University of Miami of Ohio when he came to Baton Rouge to play LSU under Nick Saban. And I remember them talking about what a great pro he was going to be and a high draft pick and all that kind of stuff. So I remember his whole career. And, for me, he's not in the category of a Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or a Pat Mahomes or something like that. But he's in that next echelon of just great pros.
Ronnie, you working New Year's Day? You got a show? Y'all doing sports shorts?
Yeah, we'll be this Saturday, 10 to noon. We'll be at Calandro's. So obviously we'll talk a lot about tomorrow's championship games and whatnot, and then we'll the semifinal games, and then we'll talk about LSU bowl game. We'll see. Does LSU get on the bus tomorrow? The line in Vegas has LSU as a 2-1 favorite to get on the bus tomorrow to go to Houston.
Hey, man, if they get on the bus, it'll certainly be interesting to see who's going to suit up and play under center. That's for sure. A lot of John Trey Kirkland hype, man. Let John Trey cook. Ronnie, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for hanging out.
All right, fellas. Y'all take care.
Take it easy. Ronnie Rantz, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, former LSU pitcher, national champion, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 to noon. Y'all listen to him on Saturday. Breakfast sandwich reviews. You never know what Joel Davis is going to say, right?
One time I was filling in, guest hosting for Ronnie, and mid-word, he's like, hey, guys, I'm at Sonic. Y'all have to try this sandwich. And he just gave a mid-word sandwich review. That's one of the best parts of Sports Shorts.
That is one of the best. Never a dull moment. Very entertaining. Sports Shorts Radio. Grab a break. Come back on the other side with more AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Tell you every day, buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery for more than 60 years. When we get into the winter months, it's actually the perfect time to plant trees and shrubs. So maybe this Christmas or holiday season, if you got a citrus tree as a gift, or maybe you're putting in a pool, or maybe you want to just add some privacy shrubs to your outdoor area, this is actually the perfect time of year to plant them. And nobody has a better selection than Clegg's Nursery. Siga near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. 4 locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area, so you're never far from a Clegg's Nursery location. Not only do they have full greenhouses, but they're also partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so everything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So check off those honeydews. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating.
Thanks, you're ready. Yardbirds up. Veggies in the window.
Barbecue guys, born to grill.
Pops, how many steaks you want?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Boy, I have the best possible endorsement for South Point Volkswagen. Earlier this week, I was involved in a car wreck. Many of you may know that. I was on the bridge, got slammed from behind. Guy never stopped. His full-size truck is totaled. My Volkswagen Atlas is not. I tell you all the time, 9 IIHS top safety picks. It's the highest safety designation that you could possibly have for a vehicle. Volkswagen has 9 of them. You get the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, the great cost, and the peace of mind knowing that you and your family, when you're in a Volkswagen, you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. I've known that for a long time now, and it was reinforced when I got hit earlier this week. Shop online at southpointvw.com. New, certified, pre-owned, in Baton Rouge or online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Back here on AFR, still plenty to come, Mario. Got to wrap up this hour, obviously. Then Ryan Black covers Kansas State. He'll join us at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, talk some Texas Bowl. Mike Triplett from ESPN. Talking Saints-Panthers will be here at 5:15 in his normal spot where he visits with Matt. He'll hop on with us. Speaking of the Saints, we all know about the COVID issues. You're getting some guys back here. They expect to get a few more back as we inch closer to the game with Carolina. But, man, Mickey Loomis was on WWL and was not very happy. Not happy that the Saints had to play that game Monday night.
No, he was not. And I was saying on the show the other day that maybe it was a good thing for the Saints because they would have had to play Carolina on like 3 days rest, and they weren't guaranteed to get guys back. But apparently Mickey Loomis disagrees with me, and he's a little bit upset, or at least he feels like the NFL didn't really give the Saints the same chance that they did the other teams that had similar situations. And what he told WWL is if we had 7 or 8 or 10 COVID positives, we could handle it. When you have 18 active players and 4 of your practice squad players test positive for COVID, it's just too much to overcome, frankly. It wasn't fair to the players, it wasn't fair to our coaching staff, and certainly not fair for the fans. And he said he didn't know what the reasoning was in New York, but they don't have to like it, they have to live with it. And they had to live with it Monday night, and you saw the results.
The Saints I'll say this, the Saints haven't had to like a lot of things that have come out of New York in the NFL, but they've had to live with a lot of them too. Definitely their fair share, definitely more than their fair share. I would like to know what impact, if any, was played into the decision that the game was Monday. I mean, if you bump it Tuesday, who do you realistically get back? Well, we actually know the answer to that question now. It would have been Malcolm Jenkins and Juwan Johnson. So would that honestly have made that big of a difference for the Saints? I don't know. I don't think so. Now, I think if the Saints didn't have 22 players total out, they could have beaten the Miami Dolphins, absolutely. But you push it to Wednesday, then you jeopardize the game this week. So I get the frustration, and I understand it. Look, the Saints, like I said, they've had to put up with a lot from New York, definitely more than their fair share when it comes to Roger Goodell and the NFL. But maybe a blessing in disguise in a way. Now you're not on an even shorter week. You're already going to be on a shorter week for Sunday night. You're not on a shorter week. And you move on. You're not eliminated from playoff contention either.
It would say, I mean, maybe it wouldn't change you and I's opinion about Sean Payton, but I think it would change. It would do so much for Sean Payton's kind of legacy if he can make the first playoffs post Drew Brees with everything that has happened to his team.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the fourth quarterback. You're losing your best wide receiver on a team that doesn't have any other quality wide receivers. Now you're dealing with COVID. I mean, it's just been one thing after another for New Orleans Saints. And in the midst of all that, they found a way to win those games against all the division leaders that they beat, like the Packers and the Patriots and the Buccaneers, who they swept. I mean, I know that it's been kind of the season from hell for the New Orleans Saints, but if you want to put like a more positive spin on it, it is really, really crazy that they're even still in it. And again, if Sean Payton could make the playoffs the first year, post Drew Brees, the same way that Bill Belichick could not make the playoffs the first year after Tom Brady, I think that would really kind of say a lot about his legacy.
I agree. No, I 100% agree. I mean, I think, look, so much has been made as can Sean Payton win without Drew Brees, and everybody pointed to that record of when Drew was injured or whatnot. You know, he went undefeated with Teddy Bridgewater and was 4-1 last year with Taysom Hill, and maybe that narrative's taken a little bit of a hit this year. I don't necessarily think it has, just because of everything that's gone wrong. You're not just trying to win without Drew Brees. You're trying to win with a brand new team every single week. It feels like, honestly, with the New Orleans Saints, and it's felt like that since training camp.
Yeah,
like this started in training camp. Just the rash of injuries.
Yeah, it's obscene, man. And the young talent that's kind of come to fruition towards the end of the season. Pete Werner was awesome in the game without DeMario Davis playing against the Dolphins the other night. Peyton Turner, I think, has kind of been a disappointment his rookie year. Not through his own fault. He's been dealing with injuries, but they invested in him as a first-round pick. It would be nice to see him at least out there on the field and see what you have going forward with him and Davenport and whatever's left of Cam Jordan's career. But there's a lot of young talent on this team. We talked about Marquez Callaway in the last segment. There are a lot of kind of building blocks going forward for the future. But there are some questions to answer during the offseason, like what are you going to do at quarterback? But kind of the foundation for the team, I think, is there right now, and it all starts with Sean Payton.
Before we hit the break, let you know, remind you about something Matt's been telling you about, Courtside for Charity. He asked me to continue kind of letting you know about that throughout the week. Gulf Coast Office Products, one of his sponsors, helped him put it on. We're offering 2 of their courtside seats for 4 New Orleans Pelicans game. We did already draw for the first game last week on AFR. The next game on tap is January 6th versus the Golden State Warriors. Warriors having a pretty solid season, man, so that'd be an awesome one to get in for. There's 3 games left. Again, Golden State on the 6th of January is the next one. January 13th versus the Clippers, and February 8th versus the Houston Rockets. Tickets are $20. You can buy 1 for $20, 6 for $100, 15 for $250. Once you're entered, you're entered. You don't have to re-enter. One entry enters you for every game. January 6th, Golden State is the next one. We'll announce the winner here on AFR. Matt will a day or 2 before that game, so you can get in touch with him. All proceeds, 100% of proceeds benefiting 4 charities around Baton Rouge: St. Lillian Academy, the Arc of Baton Rouge, Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, and Alzheimer's Services of the capital area. Courtside for Charity. Want to sit courtside for a Pelicans game? You can do so with the help of Gulf Coast Office Products, giving 2 courtside seats to 4 games. Next drawing, next game, January 6th, Golden State, courtside for Charity. Y'all get registered tickets, $20. You can get 6 for $100 or 15 for $250. Grab a break, come back, close out hour number 2 of AFR. Stay here.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds. Remind you about our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana. For years, I've told you so many examples of your friends and neighbors, our listeners, who have called Insurance Network of Louisiana. This process is so easy. I don't want it to be intimidating because sometimes people think insurance, I don't know, I don't know what my coverage is. I haven't looked at it in so long. Don't be intimidated. At Insurance Network of Louisiana, the guys and gals over there are awesome, and they can walk you through the entire process. It's easy. It starts with 1 phone call. You call Insurance Network of Louisiana, they take a little bit of information, and then they go shop. They do all the work for you. And then they'll come back with you and let you know if they were able to find you better coverage for less money. It's basically like this, the analogy I give. Would you hire an agent if you were an athlete that could only negotiate with one team? Or would you rather hire an agent that can negotiate the best deal among all the teams? That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
If you've recently been in an accident, you're probably saying to yourself,
If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
it's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You know, Mario, it's the last show of 2021, and this time of year now you're going to see a bunch of different things. I mean, Sports Center's had the top 10 plays of the year or whatnot. Everybody's doing their kind of sports year in review, and we kind of wanted to talk about just some of the wild things that have happened from a very memorable year in sports nationally and also here locally. I mean, think about this. I know we've joked multiple different times that this whole year has just kind of been one giant coaching search, but think about the three new coaches you saw hired at LSU just this year, and Jay Johnson, where that's the first time you've had a baseball coach, a new baseball coach at LSU in 15 years. Kim Mulkey being brought over from Baylor, and now Brian Kelly. I mean, that's a changing of the guard to all happen in 1 year.
Yeah, and I think we got to mention also, if we're bringing up Jay Johnson and the baseball team, I told you this before the show, but I think what Paul Maneri accomplished in kind of his swan song as LSU's baseball coach was really impressive. And I know that a lot of times kind of the comparisons pop popped in between Les Miles and Paul Maneri, and that's something that you disagreed with.
Don't get me started on that.
Strongly, and at the end of the day, you can continue to disagree with it, especially when it comes to the end of their careers, because I thought he had a really, really, really gracious end to his. They kind of ran into a buzzsaw there in Tennessee in the Super Regional, but it was really impressive, the run that LSU baseball had, I thought, and to me, that's a memory in 2021 that will stick out.
Yeah, I mean that was the first time they'd won a regional on the road since the 80s. I mean, that was an awesome way to that was the end. I mean, I know technically it's in Tennessee, but LSU was overmatched going into that Super Regional anyway, and everybody kind of knew the outcome of that prior. The ending you choose to remember is definitely the win in Eugene, coming through the losers bracket to do it as well. I mean, LSU dropped their first game of that regional. That's obviously something there for sure as well. To take from the football. And I'll tell you this, more on like a national scale, watching the Milwaukee Bucks win the NBA Finals, I enjoyed that a lot. And I mean, for a small market team to be able to accomplish that, for it to be Phoenix and Milwaukee, I know a lot of people didn't like that, but of the era of super teams in the NBA where it's just always been, I enjoyed the good basketball that was played in that series. And for Giannis to be able to do that, for it to come full circle, him reaffirm his commitment to the city of Milwaukee to bring a championship there, that was awesome. And I mean, I know a lot of comparisons were made like, man, look, they can do something like that in New Orleans, and hopefully they're on their way to doing that. They got a ways to go now, but hopefully they're on their way. But to see something like that this year, I really liked that as well. And especially everything you went through with COVID and whatnot, for the city of Milwaukee to be able to come together and gather for that, have full arenas. The Deer District outside was flowing with people. That was special too. That was one of the first, sports are back type moments after COVID when the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Finals this year. So I would like to include that as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I know you agree with me here, man. We need more people like Giannis Antetokounmpo in the league. And I know he made comments recently about it's uncertain, like he can't promise that it'll be in Milwaukee forever, but he had many opportunities to leave. And if he kind of followed the path of guys that have done similar things, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and others, then it wouldn't have been as good for the NBA. But I do agree with you. It should give hope to small market teams like the New Orleans Pelicans, that you could certainly draw a lot of parallels to, not just with the small market thing, but not just Giannis Antetokounmpo, but also Chris Middleton, his right-hand man, really struggled the first couple of years, and they really made over the entire team, kind of the same way they're doing with the Pelicans right now with the coaching search and changing up the roster a little bit more compared to the last couple of years. So that is something that will stick out to me, and that is definitely one of the more memorable parts of 2021.
Drew Holiday too, man. Getting Drew a ring.
Yeah, and CP3 too. I know he lost in the finals, but his path to finally get there in 2021 after he was a rookie in the NBA in 2005 was really impressive. Not just that, but kind of the path he took to get there. He went to the Rockets after he went to the Clippers, thought he had a better chance to win a title. And then after that, he had to kind of humble himself because nobody wanted to take on that contract. So he got sent to Oklahoma City, where people thought his career would kind of go to die, but he did a great job leading that team that had very little. They dang near almost beat the Houston Rockets in the first round in the bubble, which that would have been so embarrassing for James Harden if he would have taken that loss to Chris Paul and the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you saw what he parlayed that to. He reunites with Monty Williams in Phoenix, and Chris Paul making the finals is also a memory in 2021.
Did it, huh? Did it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a memory.
Came back.
Kind of to that vein I spoke about too there with crowds being back. The first few weeks of college football season this year were awesome. To see that and to see all the traditions that we missed last year, like jump around at Wisconsin or the Kinnick Wave at Iowa, just everything that makes college football great. I think everyone can agree on this. That was the sport affected most by no fans, because the home field advantage and passion for college football is like none other. To see that return in 2021 was also a moment that will stick out and I'll remember for a very long time.
Yeah, being back in the stadium was great, man. I know it was kind of a forgettable season for LSU, but the Florida game, LSU was able to win that game, and then Texas A&M, at least you finish off the Coach O era in a strong fashion. I know towards the end of Coach O was really bad the last few years, but at least you send them off in a positive fashion, and you beat Texas A&M, which is always fun. So not the best LSU season, but given the circumstances, and like you said, post-COVID, it is one that I'll remember.
You took my last one. Texas A&M was going to be my last one. The most recent, probably best memory we've had, and the 2 wins over the Bucs for the Saints too. But beating Texas 8-4 one more time. That was a really, really fun night. That was a really fun Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Great night. Great night for Matt Musso, both at the game and in the festivities after celebrating.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave that one at that. One more hour to go here on AFR. When we come back, Ryan Black, he covers Kansas State football. Talk a little Texas Bowl, LSU and the Wildcats set to kick it off 5 days from now at NRG Stadium. And then Mike Triplett from ESPN will join us, talk some Saints as they're set to kick it off against the Panthers for the regular season home finale Sunday in the Dome. Hour number 3 of After Further Review is next. Stay here.
AFR.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
Whether you're headed to work, school, or to see the Tigers.
Needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Yo, Jake here from Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. The place is going to be convenient for you during that inconvenient time, and it's even more convenient now. Now you have 8 convenient locations with the Bruley location just opening up. So go check them out online, patientplusuc.com, because remember, they are your place for your sniffles, for your colds, for your stitches, for your COVID tests. They have all that available over at Patient Plus. For more information, visit them at patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. Late third quarter, TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Tennessee and Purdue are going back and forth. And now the Volunteers with a field goal have taken a 31-30 lead. A lot of excitement, a lot of fun. It's on ESPN and ESPN Radio right now. Coming up tomorrow, the 2 college football playoff semifinals. First up, Cincinnati against Alabama. The top-ranked Crimson Tide, a big favorite. Can the Bearcats handle the pressure? Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell says yes.
We've been on some of those stages. I'm not saying we've been, in a Cotton Bowl stage like this in the playoffs, but, playing at Notre Dame this year, I think was big for us. Handling, just all the hype around it and, even the environment, the atmosphere and going into that game. So I think that our ability to kind of handle that and grow through that, hopefully we'll be able to draw upon all those things to help us here tomorrow afternoon.
That's Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell. College football playoffs begin 2:30 p.m. Eastern Friday here on ESPN Radio. NBA postponing tonight's Nuggets-Warriors game in Denver. Denver doesn't have enough players.
It's Keith from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, hoping you're spending as much time with your wonderful family as possible. When the calendar turns to 2022, we'll be right here talking about the NFL playoff picture. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Kicking off hour number 3 after further review. Last hour of After Further Review for 2021. Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez. We're filling in for Matt Moscona. Right now, head over to the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. We find Ryan Black of the Manhattan Mercury, covers Kansas State, talk a little Texas Bowl. Ryan, we appreciate your time. How are you?
Hey, guys, I'm doing pretty well today. Hope the same is true for you.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Doing all right here. I do want to start with this, though. So it feels odd with this matchup a little bit. I mean, bowl season in general kind of feels odd in college football now. It's not at all what it used to be with opt-outs and things of that nature. But around here, when you talk LSU football, the eye is really a lot of on the future. What's the vibe kind of like in Manhattan surrounding the Texas Bowl?
Well, I mean, obviously a lot different because, I mean, K-State's not in the middle of a coaching, regime change. So there's a lot of excitement here for the chance to go down and play in Houston because that's a big alumni base for Kansas State, as well as just the chance to match up with an SEC opponent and actually win a bowl game under Chris Kleiman. It's the third season, and they lost 2 years ago in Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, and then last year they kind of removed themselves from bowl consideration because they had a lot of COVID positives after the regular season ended. So but there's just a lot of excitement for the game here, which I guess I understand why it's a little bit different there in Baton Rouge.
What about Skylar Thompson? I know one of the last time Chris Kleiman spoke to the media, he did say that it was a high potential for Thompson to play. Is that still the thought, or is there any news to report there?
Well, I mean, I think as long as he's even somewhat healthy enough to play, he's going to go because, I mean, one, it's going to be his last college game, regardless of what happens. He is one of the 5 players on the team who took advantage of the 6th year. But then secondly, I'm not 100% sold on him, honestly, as a pro prospect. I mean, I know depending on maybe some mock drafts or people you may have looked at, they think maybe he's somewhere between the 10th and the 15th best pro prospect available. But I just don't know, having seen him for the last 4 years, whether he's really that much of a pro prospect. On top of the fact, I think the players are going to have a lot of questions about his very, very, very extensive injury history here at K-State. So I mean, if he can walk and move around even somewhat, I would be shocked if he doesn't play in the Texas Bowl.
Ryan, thanks for coming on. We know when it comes to Kansas State offensively, it all starts with Deuce Vaughn, a first-team All-American, over 1,200 rushing yards this season. For LSU, they don't really know a lot about the bowl game, including who's going to be their quarterback, or at least the public doesn't know, I should say. Again, we know about Vaughn and that offense. Thompson will play. What is the biggest challenge, in your opinion, that will be presented by Kansas State against LSU?
Well, I think you kind of really hit the nail on the head. Just Vaughn is so incredibly versatile. Not only obviously is he the team's leading rusher, but he's the team's leading pass catcher in terms of receptions, and he's only a few yards behind Phillip Brooks for the team lead in yardage. I know for some people they would think, well, his size is a disadvantage, but you talk to him and you talk to offensive linemen. They're like, no, actually, it works in our favor because by the time a defense, like the time that some of the defensive players see him, he's already past them because he's just so small. He's able to hide behind these offensive linemen so well. The one thing I'll admit, though, guys, that's a huge question mark is, K-State, got rid of their offensive coordinator after the loss to Texas in the regular season finale. Their interim offensive coordinator for this game, who's going to call the plays, is Colin Klein, who you guys might recognize that name. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist in 2012 for K-State and one of their all-time great players. But he's never called plays before. And so really it's going to be interesting to see if he has any maybe extra tricks up his sleeve that maybe we haven't seen K-State use in the past couple of years since this new coaching staff took over. So I'd say that's actually also, again, to K-State's advantage in that, I don't think the LSU defense is really going to know what K-State's going to call because Klein has never been a play caller before.
I mean, obviously, as we were just talking about there with Deuce Vaughn, that's obviously where K-State's offense goes. It runs through him, and it should. He's an incredible player. On the defensive side of the ball, though, what gives Kansas State's defense problems? What's a weakness of theirs?
Well, definitely if teams that have been able to kind of hold Felix Anudike-Uzomah in check. He's by far their best pass rusher. I'm sure you guys have seen his stats by now.
Mm-hmm.
He had a game against TCU where he tied the NCAA Division I single game record, and then the NCAA went back and took two of those sacks away because they said they were technically rushing plays by TCU. But really, outside of him, that they've struggled to really muster much of a pass rush this year, and part of that's because one of their another player who's expected to be a great pass rusher this year, Khalid Duke, he went out very early in the season, and so. That's one of the things is, you guys know this. You have a good enough quarterback who has time to stay in the pocket and deliver. That's going to make it tough on any defense. And so to me, teams have been able to really effectively take Anudike-Uzomah out of the game. That's something that really affects K-State because otherwise they just had so much problem getting to the quarterback.
We know that Snyder was a really, really good coach at Kansas State for many years, Ryan. And Chris Klieman in his third year, 19-16 season at Kansas State. What's kind of the vibe around him after his first 3 seasons leading the Wildcats?
I think for the most part the fan base is still very much on board with him. I do think you're always going to have a segment that's always going to think, well, Snyder should still be coaching and that he should have basically got the call. Really his retirement. But, I think really the one thing I believe that K-State fans really would want to see out of Klieman is just a little more consistency. That they've had some just really, like where they'll go on these 3-game win streaks and then lose the next 4 and then win the next 3, which I know you can say in a way that is consistent. But, again, they would much rather see something, closer to like a 9-3 season or something like that, as opposed to some of the things, that they've dealt with the last 3 years. But I think, things could be a lot worse. If you guys can believe this, he's now like the 4th longest tenured coach in the Big 12, and of the coaches who were hired at the same time as him, Matt Wells was already fired at Texas Tech, and of course you guys know what happened with Les Miles at KU. So I know that maybe he hasn't won quite at the level yet that people want to see him win at, but I can see the potential is there because they're recruiting at a little bit higher level than they were in the final years under Snyder.
Ryan Black, the Manhattan Mercury, covers Kansas State. Y'all follow him on Twitter at Ryan A. Black. Ryan, we know you got to run, man. We appreciate the time. Thanks for carving it out for us and talking a little football. And enjoy the game and a Happy New Year.
Hey, thank you guys. Same to you.
Absolutely. LSU and Kansas State, Texas Bowl, January 4th, 5 days from now. It looks like they're going to get on the bus and go play it, Mario.
Yeah, it seems that way. And I know you want to see Kirkland at quarterback. It's going to be a good opportunity for him if that is the case. But pumped for this game.
I want to see everybody at quarterback. Kind of like how we talked about with Brody Miller yesterday. I think LSU should just go out there and try and set the school record for most players to attempt to pass.
Why not? Why
be
not?
Awesome.
Yeah, get everybody in on the ad. Throw a pass to an offensive lineman. Why not? Get Deculus a touchdown before.
Oh, I love it, Mark. Yes. Now that anyone should be able to get behind. Austin Deculus, touchdown scorer. We need that to happen. That should happen. Line him up in the backfield. Like you saw what Minnesota did the other night. Yeah. The big 78 left tackle, just let him mow through people. Let's let Deculus score a touchdown. I like that too. Have some fun with it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. He deserves it after the career that he had. Can you imagine if he were able to get in the end zone? He had the record for the consecutive starts, I believe. It would be a great way to send him out. And maybe we do, Musso. Who knows? There's so much unknown going into this game. We could see a lot of wacky stuff.
I wonder if Austin Deculus would rather catch a touchdown pass or have a touchdown run.
I would think catch it. You get a little bit. Yeah, you get to display your athleticism a little bit more, show off your hands.
I like it.
I feel like you'd rather catch. What would you rather do in that situation?
If I was an offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Probably run it.
Okay.
Probably run it. They're physical guys, man. They're play in the trenches. They're physical guys.
That's my point, Musa. You're underrating their athleticism, their catch radius.
Oh, but they like the physical. They like to hit. That's my thought.
It would be awesome if they get that a touchdown, but
That
it would
would
also
be so good.
it would also be awesome if we could play the game and if we could know who the quarterback was like sometime before the game started.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're going to see that, but hopefully they do play it, and because you know what, look, it'd be a nice reward for a lot of the guys on there, guys like Austin Deculus and John Trey Kirkland for one, and there's plenty more. Ed Ingram, seniors, Liam Shanahan. Plenty of guys along the offense and defensive line as well, and defense in general, to get out there and have a shot. They worked hard to get to bowl eligibility now. Here you go. Texas Bowl, January 4th. Mike Triplett, and we're talking Saints next here on the other side of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Look for that pinnacle green. Pinnacle Exterior Construction allows you to take that boring backyard and turn it into an oasis. Turn it into a show place. These hot Louisiana summers, if you ever dreamed about having your own pool in the backyard you go dive into, Pinnacle can make that happen. Not just pools. Custom pools and outdoor kitchens, fences, decks, bulkheads, even have a concrete crew. Want to repave your driveway? You want to extend your patio? Pinnacle can do it all. And because they stock aluminum and wood, they get to you quicker at a lower price. Because they don't use subcontractors, they control their schedule. They also control better pricing, so it can be more affordable to go with Pinnacle, and financing is available. Call for that free consultation, 757-6138, 757-6138, or PECbuilt.com for Pinnacle Exterior Construction.
Hey, Bob, thanks for inviting me to your ultimate tailgate. I thought we were going to watch the game. No.
Yardbirds up! Veggies in the window!
Barbecue guys, born to grill.
Pops, how many steaks you want?
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the need.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com, 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. And at Relief Windows, they will never take $1 from you until you are thrilled with the work. Seriously, no deposit, no down payment. They do not want $1 from you until you are thrilled with the work that they do. That's Relief Windows. And what a time of year. We are moving to the winter months, and this is the time of year when those leaky, drafty windows can become costly. Of course, lets the cold air in, the warm air from your heater out. Make your home more energy efficient. Lower your monthly energy bills. Increase your home's resale value with energy efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. 288-8138 or reliefwindows.com.
Back here on AFR, Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez filling in for Matt Moscona. Saints and Panthers closing out the regular season at home this weekend are the New Orleans Saints. 3:25 at kickoff for that one. ESPN's Mike Triplett, kind enough to spend some time previewing that game. Join us now. Mike, how are you?
Doing good. I want to know how Mario's doing. Mario, how did you hold up in that game? Trying to keep an optimistic tone for 3 hours.
It was tough to do, Mike, especially after 2 straight weeks of the Saints not getting in the end zone. But we did what we could throughout the 60 minutes. Hopefully we hear at least one touchdown against the Panthers on Sunday. It was tough, though. Very tough. And how do you view that game against the Panthers, Mike? I mean, Carolina's coming in. They're a mess at quarterback. New Orleans is coming off that loss, but they did get 10 guys back from the COVID list. They are going to be without Marcus Williams, but what are your surface-level thoughts on the NFC South matchup in the Superdome?
Well, unfortunately, they're going to be without Marcus Williams and now Eric McCoy, too, and we still don't know about Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk because of traditional injuries. And frankly, you could make an argument over who is the most valuable player on the team. Have they missed Jameis Winston the most, Michael Thomas the most, Alvin Kamara when he missed 4 games? But I think when you're missing both offensive tackles, Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk, that has really taken its toll on the Saints this year. And we've seen Trevor Siemian struggle, we've seen Taysom Hill struggle, and we certainly saw Ian Book struggle when they didn't have either of those offensive tackles, in addition to obviously Andrews Pete, now Eric McCoy. So that offensive line was supposed to be a strength of this team. When that offensive line has been missing that many bodies, this offense can't do anything. The good news, though, is I do think the defense will put up a fight. And look, the Panthers are dealing with COVID issues of their own, and the Panthers have really been struggling lately. So this is a matchup they should win, but they still won't be at 100%.
Is there any chance that Ramczyk is back this week, Mike? I mean, they never put him on IR, and I mean he that same knee is just and now the COVID list.
It's crazy. I don't know the specifics. I think they did think it was going to be shorter term. They obviously thought it was going to be shorter term than this. And they still at any time could have put him on IR if they knew he was going to miss 3 weeks. So I don't, it could be season ending if they knew he wasn't coming back. I think they still continue to hold out hope that he was going to come back. But I don't know if we're getting close with him because he's also, on top of everything else, been on the COVID list this week. Yeah. We don't actually know if he would have been healthy enough to practice even on a limited basis. So hopefully he comes off the hope. Obviously what we're going to need to see is that he comes off the COVID list and gets out on the practice field. Otherwise, it's hard to count on him playing this week.
Mike Triplett of ESPN is our guest here on After Further Review. We can circle back to the Saints in a moment, Mike, but I do want to ask you, I know Sean Payton talked about John Madden the other day. How will you remember the late, great John Madden?
Yeah, look, I'm 45 years old. Sean Payton made a really good point where he said you can almost tell someone's age based on what their memories are of Madden. I don't remember Madden the coach. And I was already college age when Madden the video game came out. So for me, I'm in the range where Madden the announcer is what I will always remember most. And I retweeted somebody who made a really, really good point the other day. And this is kind of how I feel about sports. Madden was so beloved because he made football fun, the way he described the game as an announcer, coming up with the turducken, coming up with the all Madden team, putting his name behind a video game. He always embraced what was fun and enjoyable about football and why we're fans in the first place, why we love this game. So we always pick it apart, and then obviously, there's always scandals and important issues and league office issues and salary cap issues that I think he really, really highlighted why this game is just so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, when you tune in to listen to him, because it's funny what you say, like you can tell their age. I mean, Mario and I remember the announcer John Madden, but the tail end. Like, I mean, we don't remember Pat Summerall John Madden. We're Al Michaels and John Madden, but right. But when you listen to him break down the game, you learned so much more. He had a way of making it easy to understand, simple, but not boring. Kind of like you said, he embraced the fun side, and you were also there to learn. You could learn so much about the game at a young age listening to him call it. It was definitely something is impactful. Was John Madden?
So the one thing I would recommend if people haven't checked it out, the Saints put out a tweet earlier this week where they had the highlights of when John Madden called that 2016 Saints versus Cowboys. Which was one of the great Saints wins of all time when they clobbered the Cowboys and everyone, kind of unexpectedly that game. Some Drew Brees highlights on there and some other highlights. That's a lot of fun. I'd recommend digging back through Saints Twitter and finding that.
Bringing it back to the game this Sunday, Mike, how would you describe the career of Matt Rule as Carolina's head coach so far? I mean, a lot of instability and a lot of losses in his second year.
Yeah, it's interesting because, people were really excited about the direction he had that program going, and they approached this year a little bit as if they were ready to win now. The way that they, obviously traded away Teddy Bridgewater and thought they were upgrading at the quarterback position, the way they, stayed aggressive in the draft, the way they were the ones who went out and got Stephon Gilmore. I think they thought they were going to be ready to win now, and now it looks like they don't know exactly what direction that franchise is headed, whether they're in rebuilding mode or they're ready to win next year. So I still think they're obviously going to give Matt Rule another chance and not be ready to give up on him yet, but he's going to have to prove next year that they're heading in the right direction. The season certainly got off to a good start. Saints fans remember that. They clobbered the Saints in week 2, but it's gone downhill fast.
Receiver has been a major position of scrutiny this year for the Saints, Mike, and there was a lot of eyes on Marquez Callaway coming into the season as the guy who was going to have to step up. The last few weeks, Marquez Callaway has been playing really well. The 100-yard game against Tampa Bay maybe took a little bit longer, but are we finally starting to see an emergence from Marquez Callaway here?
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is since we've had multiple Saints quarterbacks this year, he's become, it seems like, a go-to target for Taysom Hill and then Ian Book. Maybe those guys remember how valuable he was in the preseason, and they're like, "Where's Marquez Callaway? I love throwing that guy in the preseason." So, look, I imagine that his biggest issues are route running, getting open, getting separation, the intricacies of the offense and the choice routes, maybe. Because the one thing we do know about him is he seems to make fantastic contested catches, but he's just not getting targeted. He hasn't been targeted as much all season long, perhaps because he hasn't been getting open enough. But there's still obviously a lot of talent there, and that's been a positive trend.
Mike, obviously Mike Thomas hasn't played all season, and we haven't talked very much about the Saints receiver, but have you heard anything at all about Mike Thomas, whether it be about his standing with his team or the recovery from the injury or anything at all about Michael Thomas's future?
Not exactly, but I mean, I had a pretty good feel and indication at the time that he went, or, that we've heard about the setback, that he wasn't going to play this year. That was just disappointing and surprising for everyone involved. That it was not in any way him refusing to play for the team or a signal that they had a rift. I mean, I think they had mostly mended sort of the issues that became pretty public this summer, and they were all working together toward him coming back and expecting him to come back. So I don't think it's complete, definite 100% he's not going to be back with this team. I think there's a good chance he's back because I don't know exactly what his trade value is right now with the question marks surrounding him not playing for a while. And I don't think you just give him away for a mid-round pick. And receiver is the number one need on this team. So if they, can get on the same page and decide, we could really use you, and you're right back to being our number one receiver, I think there's still a possibility that happens. So.
Mike, we've made it pretty far into this interview, and we haven't talked playoffs. Now, I sit in a chair across this desk every day and produce the show for Matt, so I know you've come on here and made a habit of giving him hope for the Saints to make the playoffs. So, Mike, give us hope. How can the Saints make the playoffs with 2 weeks left?
There is great hope for their playoff scenarios if they are a 9-8 team. And it's funny, I wrote something on my after the game last week, and my editor said, "What do you mean there's a good chance they're going to make the playoffs?" And I go, "No, read it. There's a good chance they'll make the playoffs if they finish 9-8. So that is the hard part, finishing 9-8. They need to show consistency. They need to show health. They need to show availability that they just haven't had on a consistent basis all season. But they're 7-point favorites this week. If they get even healthier the next week, I assume they'll be favored in Atlanta. If they do finish 9-8, the tiebreaker scenarios work out very well for them. You just need to root for, the Niners to lose to the Rams, and the Saints would make the playoffs at 9-8. So they're not going to. It's not going to be that the other teams in the NFC eliminate them. It's whether or not they can get there themselves.
Last one from me, Mike. Me and Musso were talking about this a couple of segments ago. If Sean Payton were able to help the Saints make the playoffs in the first year post-Drew Brees, with everything that has gone down, given injuries, suspension, now COVID taking its toll, what do you think that would do for Sean Payton's legacy?
Don't forget hurricane evacuation.
Hurricanes, that's right. Practicing away from home, being forced.
COVID thing.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
How about this? Here's another one. Here's another one for you. They just set the NFL record Monday night for most starters ever used in a season.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see that. Oh, man.
It's unbelievable.
I forgot about that.
Four different starting quarterbacks, but I think the number was 57 overall. 57 different starters this season.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Unbelievable. I mean, you're absolutely right. And look, here's the thing. I think it depends on who you talk to. I think some people in the fan base, well, I know some people because I have a Twitter account. But not even, I don't even need to just blame Twitter. They were booing Sean Payton in the Superdome this year in a game he won against Tampa Bay for not liking some of his choices on the set. The demand and expectations have become so high that, I've seen a lot of, Sean Payton obviously needed Drew Brees because look what he's doing with these other quarterbacks. But I'm with you. If he takes this team to the playoffs, considering everything they've gone through this year, and it's not just Sean Payton, it's the entire coaching staff. Obviously, Dennis Allen stepped up, and Pete Carmichael stepped up in Tampa when Payton was out for a game. I think it's a really good coaching staff, and I think they've handled an impossible situation about as well as they could this year.
He is Mike Triplett, ESPN.com, covers the Saints. Does a great job. Y'all read his stuff. Follow him on Twitter as well, at Mike Triplett. Mike, we appreciate you joining us, man. Happy New Year, and here's to hopeful that they make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, look, no matter what, because of that Twitter account I have, I at least hope they do finish 9-8. I don't want them to miss the playoffs because they lose at Atlanta, because I don't think the fan base would be able to handle that.
It always comes down to Atlanta, it seems. It just seems like it always comes down to Atlanta. We appreciate the time, Mike. Happy New Year.
At least we know Cam Jordan will have like 3 sacks in that game.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that too. Cam Jordan, he's back. He's back. Thanks, Mike.
Have a good one, guys.
You do the same. That is Mike Triplett. Mario, you got to get out of here, huh? You got to go call a basketball game.
Yes, St. Thomas More taking on North Central tonight in the Sunkist Shootout Final. You can catch that game in a tape delay on your view later on in the week, but it'll also be on Varsity Sports Now. So I'm very excited to get out, but before and call that game. But Musa, before I do, I want to wish you a very happy New Year. I want to say that I know we've worked together for a couple of years, but this is the first year that we worked together on the air, and it was really cool, doing Middle Relief the time we did, and now we have our own show on Early Line. We had to kind of adjust to the gambling content, but if I do say so myself, I think we've done a great job, and I think we've had a lot of fun, man.
It's been a year of learning for sure for both of us, and yeah, man, it's been great to work together, and hey, look how we capped off the year, right? It started out just you ended up taking over OTB when I moved back to AFR. Then we end up with Middle Relief, Early Line. And then on the last week where we're doing live shows, we did together 15 and a half hours of radio.
Hell yeah. I'm a high five you on the air.
That's a hell of a way to cap the year, Mario. It was a very busy year for the both of us, but a very enjoyable year. A lot of good times, a lot of good conversation on the radio as well. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Have a good call tonight. St. Thomas More North Central, you said?
Sir.
St. Thomas More North Central. Have a good call. Have a safe trip, too, to out there to old Acadiana.
Thanks, Musso. Have a great rest of the show, and have a very happy New Year.
We will. It will be a very abbreviated rest of the show. Only 2 segments. We'll do something next, and then Otter will join the show to close us out. Otter Locks, probably some picks from Colucci as well. So stick around for that, and we'll roll on for half an hour more here in 2021 on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001. 752-0001. Love telling you about River City's 1 hour air because I love telling you about great companies that treat people right. That's River City's 1 hour air. They make you feel valued and they make you feel comfortable. When you schedule service with River City's 1 hour air, when technicians come into the house, you get a phone call, an email, and a text message alerting you the technician's on the way. You get a text message with a picture, a photo, name, and reviews of that technician who's coming to your house. They take the time to explain everything. They're very thorough. They have equipment on the truck because they're so big on continuing education. They have equipment on the truck other companies don't even own, never even heard of. River City's 1 hour air. Nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. They'll never charge you extra. River City's 1 hour air. Got a problem with your home central AC? Call River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001.
I don't need an attorney to represent me.
Come on, man. If you don't want the insurance companies taking advantage of you.
To bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. That's where you can check them out, Michelli.com. Remember, at Michelli, they do offer ISO 17025 accreditation. You can learn more at Michelli.com and other accreditations and standard calibrations as well. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All of their different services and products are at the website. The website is a great virtual font of resources. So many times, clients will say, oh, I didn't know you did that. So go to Michelli.com. The track system that they offer is a great asset. Track records, assets, and calibrations. It's an acronym. And what this allows you to do is track the status of the calibration of your devices. And then it also gives you a record of those calibrations at your fingertip online for free, 24/7, 365, so you can be more efficient. Michelli, Weighing and Measurement.
A couple more segments here left to go on AFR in 2021. Mario had to jet out calling a basketball game, high school basketball game, St. Thomas More and North Central. Thanks so far. It's a busy show, though. Thanks to Ron Higgins, who hopped on in the first hour to recap LSU's first loss of the season in basketball to Auburn. It was a tough game to watch last night, man. They dug a deep hole, and they fought hard to get out of it, but they down 17 twice, got it to 6 a couple times, just in the end could not pull it out. Too many turnovers, 2 sequences in that game with the game at 6 points. One of them at the end of the first half, 3 turnovers in 4 possessions, found themselves down 10, and then in the end of the game, down 6 again, 3 straight turnovers and found themselves down 10, and then that was all she wrote. Ronnie Rantz jumped aboard, talked about a lot of different things with us. We thank him for that. Ryan Black hopped aboard, covers Kansas State. He talked some Texas Bowl, and then Mike Triplett in the last segment talked Saints and Panthers as New Orleans looks to keep their playoff hopes alive, man. You need to finish at 9-8, have the Niners lose, and the Saints would be in, or 3-way ties are also friends of the Saints. The Niners would end up being the odd team out if the Saints, Eagles, and 49ers all finish tied. The Niners are your odd team out, and the Saints would be in. New Year's Eve. Anybody in the room have any plans? New Year's Eve? Danny, Cade, anything?
I don't traditionally really do much for New Year's Eve because since we had last 3 years with the little girl, we're just not doing much.
Yeah.
But it's also a weird night to be out. I get a little worried about not so much myself, but other people and their condition or state of mind. So
a buddy of mine, his dad says it's the worst night of the year to go out. He calls it amateur hour because it's the one night of the year where everybody goes out, where people who don't normally go out, they're out for New Year's Eve.
And I'm not also I'm keeping in mind what's going on right now in the country.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to be elbow to elbow with a bunch of people.
That's true.
Let's just be honest. So
that's very true. Very true.
I'll be in New Orleans, but not like going hard or anything. I'll be with family in New Orleans.
Little gold mine.
Gold mine.
Take the family to gold mine. No.
Hey, NOLA rugby, man. NOLA Gold rugby. Let's get it going. Get it going. Yeah. Yeah, low key. I think it's pretty much be low key all around for a lot of people this year. Mainly, pretty much for what you said too, Kate.
I think it's supposed to be a little colder. So I'm not
Well, I thought it was supposed to be. Now it's supposed to be like 71. I saw that earlier. The cold got pushed back to next week.
I had a Hawaiian shirt on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I'm not upset about that though. I had shorts on. It was phenomenal. That's great.
I'd like low 60s or something. I don't know. I want it to feel like Christmas.
I mean, that's fine, but
I don't need snow. I just wish it felt like
snow. See, people always get mad when I say this, but snow in this city is a nuisance.
We're not prepared.
Right.
Certainly not for a large event.
Ice in this city is a nuisance. It's not. If you want snow, go on vacation somewhere where you'll get snow, but you don't need snow in Baton Rouge. It's terrible. Everything shuts down. You can't leave your house. What's the point?
I did find out yesterday there is a, Danny can maybe attest to this. There's a snowball stand in New Orleans called Snola.
Okay, that's awesome.
So, what it's worth.
I mean, that's fun, yeah.
You can turn that into something cool.
But puns are great.
They serve stuffed cheesecake snowballs.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I've had one of
those.
those.
They're known for is they stuff their snowballs with cheesecake.
That's incredible.
I've had one of those before. It's really good. I've also had one. I've had one with ice cream too.
Yeah.
Cheesecake's better for what it's worth. The cheesecake's better.
That is a nap waiting to happen.
It is, but I mean, like, think about it. You put ice cream in the middle of a snowball. That's basically just like putting ice in your ice cream. That doesn't make much sense. It's kind of weird. So the cheesecake's so much better. I was a big fan. Big fan of that. Snola. Like it. Snola.
Maybe that's what Zion's been hitting up.
Oh yeah, there's somebody. You're gonna get.
I haven't been keeping up with a lot of sports. I don't know. Is he playing?
No,
Okay.
no, he's not. He's not. I've lost track of the Zion updates myself. I'll be honest.
I'm not trying to make fun.
I was about to say you're gonna get T-Bob on his kick that he was on the other day about the Photoshop pictures of Zion on circling the internet.
Yeah, not everything on the internet is factual.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is, right? You can't put anything on the internet that's not true.
I Google searched Mickey Loomis a while ago. I was doing some on-demand information, and it listed him as soccer coach. So I think
not Saints GM Mickey Loomis.
No.
This is a soccer coach.
Soccer coach Mickey
Not
Loomis.
to be confused
with his picture, with his headshot
Oh.
next to the term. So I don't know. People can mess with your Wikipedia, of course, right? But yeah, maybe he's the next. Maybe they're. Sean Payton's got his movie, right? And what is it?
It's Kevin James, yeah. Which is
maybe they're making a spin-off of that series on Apple TV and putting Mickey Loomis in to coach some kind of like,
of Ted Lasso, spinoff of Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, Mickey Loomis coaching the kids' soccer team. I don't know.
I'd watch it.
It's a long shot.
I'm gonna watch the Saints movie with Kevin James. I might not enjoy it, but I'm gonna watch it. Got to kill time somehow with that. So, home team. But yeah, Mickey Loomis, Ted Lasso spinoff. That'd be awesome.
Has anybody seen the Kurt Warner movie yet?
I haven't. I want to. I do. It's American Underdog. Underdog's the name of it. I do. I want to see it. It looks really good. Kurt Warner, he's a fascinating story. Really good quarterback too. Just always think back to that game in the Dome, though, man.
Cardinals game.
Oh,
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was black and blue.
They beat him up bad. They did the same thing to Brett Favre a week later en route to a Super Bowl. So yeah, Peyton Manning kind of got off easy when it comes to the brutalizing of quarterbacks that year for the Saints in the playoffs. But who knows? All right, one segment left to go here. Otter Locks, Jimmy out. Find out what we're betting on. Plenty of bowl games. See if Otter's got any thoughts on those tonight. Maybe he's got some picks from Colucci, too, for hockey. Who knows? So Otter Locks next to close out 2021 and AFR on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans, and Alexander's 94.7 ESPN.
AFR.
Of course, if you're looking for dinner plans tonight, Ichiban is always a fantastic option. Essen near Perkins, dine in or carry out. Remember, you have curbside to go at Ichiban as well. So if you want to call in the order, they'll have it ready for you. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. You can be on your way. Call the number when you pull up. They'll bring your order out to you. That's at Ichiban Same with Bayou Ramen in Electric Depot. From our friends at Ichiban, their newest concept is Bayou Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. This is authentic Japanese ramen. Every noodle is handmade. The broth is a 30-hour process. It is affordable. It is quick. It is casual. They have craft beer. They've got the Sweet Society dessert shop as well attached there to Bayou Ramen. And they've got all-weather patio dining. So even if it's raining outside, you can still enjoy the outdoors at Bayou. Bayou Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street.
Quality Side simply wants to supply you with the healthiest, weed and pest-free, easiest to...
For an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Thank you, Acadiana, for 54 years of allowing Corval Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Otter Locks, presented by Clark Crane Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Francisville, because a great deal is worth the short drive to Clark Crane.
Time for Otter Locks. So we turn to Jimmy Ott. Otter, thanks for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing great, Musel. How about you? Just getting ready down here. So nice crowd down here at Julesboro. A lot of activity downtown with the mild weather and kind of open air. Got the doors open. The place still beautifully decorated for the holiday season. And, you know, they're getting set up for a little live music for tomorrow night. So downtown, the Christmas tree is lit up. And ho, ho, handy, baby. Lots of good ones going down the stretch here. Tennessee 31-30 over Purdue. Tennessee had a chance to run out and hide a little bit, but Purdue has hung in there, and now this might be one of the first games in a long time. I tweeted out earlier today. She's like first 9 Super Bowls when we were handicapping back in the old days. Once you pick the winner, you win the game, and it was like that for a long time until Dallas in Super Bowl 10 backdoored the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the thing is, 21 of the 24 bowl games, you pick the winner, they're covering the spread also. The point spread has only come into play 3 of the 24 games. It may come into play here if Tennessee holds on to win but does not cover. This line went from 6 to 7.5 overnight and leading into the game. And earlier today, North Carolina went from like 9.5 to 12.5. And this is the first time that the line movement, the public action, has gotten tripped up a little bit because reports out of Vegas and Bet Rivers, they've been taking a bath this week on the bowls. You know, all of the line movements. We had a bowl line move 14 points on that Monday 10 a.m. kickoff between Western Michigan and Nevada after the coach, the quarterback, the wide receiver, and the coordinators, everybody left, and they won that by 28. But and here we're seeing the same type of thing. I'm kind of undecided on these games tonight, but we're seeing here comes the action, and it's on both of the favorites. Michigan State was at 1 point 3-point underdogs, but when Pickett and Pickett for Pitt, Walker was announced out, they thought that Pickett was a bigger deal. And I guess what? I have to agree with them. But 65% of the money, 65% of the bets on Bet Rivers on the Spartan. Now it's at 3.5. So that line continues to grow. And then Wisconsin has invaded Las Vegas. And when whiskey comes there, they drink a lot of beer. No whiskey. They drink a lot of beer, and they bet on their team. 88% of the money action is on Wisconsin. This was at 5.5 earlier. It's now up to 7.5 as we watch Purdue go in for a long touchdown.
We needed that, Otter.
Wrapped up unless he went out of bounds. Oh, he went out of bounds? The play was over. So, we've been on quite a roll this week. You know, we had, how about that, Musa, last night? The 4 home SEC openers in college basketball.
I did. I saw it.
Yeah, and we rolled with Oklahoma. That score was not anywhere close to the final score of 15. That was 30-3 at half. And so I'm just going to take. I'm going to go with Arizona State tonight. So just kind of fade, kind of. Is it time to jump on the pass line and get on the don'ts? And so we're jumping from the don'ts to the don'ts right now because we all know that the public just doesn't continue to roll through the whole bowl season. So we're going to go with Arizona State as our one play tonight. Fade the public action again. 86% of the bets at Bet Rivers on Wisconsin. It's up to 7.5. That's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot. Otter, before you go, a quick thought on the semifinals. Any thought there? Alabama, Cincinnati, and Michigan.
I think the stage is too big for Cincinnati. 2/3 of the bets are coming in on Alabama. Conspicuously holding at 13.5. I love Michigan plus the points. I think the Big Ten's pretty good this year, and Michigan is damn good. And they followed up an emotional win against Iowa and destroyed them. They have balance on offense. They're just not. I know they just settled on running against Ohio State because they were beating them up front so bad. But they can throw the ball when they need to. They got to throw it downfield as well. I love Michigan plus the points in the semifinal tomorrow night.
Are you surprised at all that it stayed that high? The line stayed that high at 7.5?
It went up to 9 at one point. Well, yeah. But it settled right back to where it originally was. It opened up at 7.5. I was wrong. I would have opened it up about 3.5. And this late in the season, I'm not that far off on most. That's an SEC. That's an SEC line against me. Hey, listen, Michigan is, off the top of my head, 11-2 against the spread. Michigan is the number 1 team in Division I. 130 teams, number 1 team in ACS record in percentage. I think it's 11-2, and so they've cashed enough tickets. It almost smells like a rat a little bit. I'm sorry. I think these two teams mimic each other a lot. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'll take those points.
Let's see.
Kirby
looks
factor,
like it.
Man. Kirby factor, bro.
11-2.
It's a light. He goes in a funk, man.
That is true.
You know, he's. I was talking to some Georgia fans last night. they're worried about it. 2-point conversion is good for Purdue, 38-31 Boilers. Doherty Rush doing a little backflip right now with 4:58 to go.
So am I, Otter. I have Purdue on the money line.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Hey, look, listen, all I know is Matt's been away all week. We hadn't lost yet. There we go.
Well, we might be onto something. And you nailed Michigan, too. They are 11-2 against the spread. The Otter, he's very good at this, people. He's very, very good at this. Jolie Pearl tonight, Otter?
Jolie Pearl, baby, downtown. Come on by and see us. Got extended happy hour through the end of the show at 8 o'clock. We're watching bowl games. That's all we're doing. Ho, ho, Hanny. Come on by.
Jimmy Ott's Game Time. It follows us here on 104.5 ESPN. Thank you, Otter. Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year, brother.
Jimmy Ott's Game Time. It's next on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. You can also watch it on the Jimmy Ott's Game Time Facebook page if you're not in Baton Rouge. That's it for us. Matt's back on Monday. We're off tomorrow. Happy New Year. See you then.
You did it, huh? You did it.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. You know that the new year is almost here. And for most people, the number one New Year's resolution is to lose weight, to get in shape, whatever the case may be. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Hormone replacement therapy, maybe if you don't have the motivation to get in the gym, or if you get in the gym and you just find it hard to build muscle or to lose that stubborn fat, hormone replacement therapy could help. There's also procedures like VeloShape and UltraShape that are non-invasive with literally no downtime that could help you attack those trouble spots. Maybe you're interested in the ideal protein diet. There's so many great options at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana to help you look and feel like your younger self. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at The Anti-Aging Clinic.
You know what I love about this time of year?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometown